There we go.
Players coming in on the now for the final of the under-19 BPL. That's Darling Dingoes batting. Waveriders in the field for this inning.
You've done well.
Opening batsman for the Darling Dingoes, number 1 in captain Lachlan Crump.
Give me a second.
And walking out with him, number 11,
It's all right.
Ashton Gump.
Ready? Hello and welcome to the final, the grand final of the under-19 men's component of the first ever Brisbane Premier League, brought to you by Mazda. This is Fred Kratzman Oval, the number 2 field at Redlands Cricket Club out at Wellington Point. The Darling Dingoes have won the toss. They will bat in their familiar orange, looking like construction workers, while in the familiar garish yellow and blue, the Gold Coast Waveriders, the minor premiers. A few minutes ago they completed a dominant victory in their semi-final, much like the Dingoes did a couple of hours earlier. But this, the first meeting between these two, they weren't drawn to meet each other in the first 3 weeks of the tournament. This is the final we wanted. My name is Daniel Viles, with me is Elliot Lyons, and if you're watching on YouTube, comment on the stream. I'll put an invitation on there in a moment. Dipinder Singh to bowl from the southern end. Afternoon, Elliot. Would you like to start on play-by-play this day?
Yeah, what an exciting time this is, Dan. The under-19s final, the inaugural BPL, and we've got the 2 best teams. We couldn't ask for much more. Dipinder Singh, that's a great line to kick things off.
And it looks like, oh, hang on, we just need to work out what's going on. We apologise that there's no video at the moment. So we're just getting onto that. I can say the first bowl was bowled by Dipinder Singh. We're just identifying the batsman for you at the moment, but you're right, the stream has not started.
It's Ashton Gum.
Ashton Gum on strike in the number 11 shirt for the Darling Dingoes. We'll do radio commentary. Singh into bowl. It's a foolish delivery, but it's actually down the leg side. There's an appeal, I think it clipped the pad, which is the only thing that saves it from a wide call.
Is there no vision?
There's still no vision at the moment. Elliot and I just talking about it, so we'll get in touch with our technical officers. Obviously, this is a final. We really want to make sure that that this goes to air and that you get to enjoy this. So, Dipinder Singh bowling from the southern end to Ashton Gunn. No score on the board as yet. Just back of the length, flicked into the leg side, and easily fielded by Bailey Sewell inside the circle. Sewell inside the circle, say that 4 times quickly. We are working on the video. We apologise, this is not what we wanted. We want you to be able to see this under-19 final, so we are working as hard as we can to get this. So far, 3 balls bowled by Dipinder Singh, no runs. Pinch-stop delivery, swinging away and very watchful from Ashton Gum. At the non-striker's end is Lachlan Crump, the captain of the Darling Dingoes, getting through to the final. And yes, Jar SM on the stream. I can tell you I've got the phone here at the moment watching the stream with you. And yeah, it's not a cover over the lens, but trust me, we are getting some tech officers over to make sure you can see this match. Just on the leg side from Dipinder Singh, it's flicked behind the leg stump, and a good return into the keeper. But as yet, no runs conceded in this first over. It's an excellent start from Dipinder Singh. your typical first over field where the two men out, one is at third man, one is at deep square leg. Into Singh from the southern end to finish off the over. That's him on the toe in front of the stumps. The umpire walks away, not interested. Dipinder Singh pleads, gets down on the one knee in the familiar look of fast bowling disappointment. With the first over gone, and I believe he started with a maiden. We apologise for the breakdown in score. Elliot Lyons here is doing his best. He's not a qualified tech officer. Guy Staplehurst, I hear you. I don't know why there's no vision at the moment, but we are getting the tech officers onto it. So please bear with us. This is not what we wanted for the Brisbane Premier League final. But I can tell you the darling Dingoes have won the toss. They've batted first, but they've just played out a maiden from Dipinder Singh. Number 5, Tom Whitney, who has basically he was the player of the match in the semi-final. Absolutely outstanding. And he, one of the quickest bowlers we've seen in this comp. He also hit 70 runs, 72 off 40 something. That's really vague, I apologise. So as we work on the vision, I will do my best to describe these pictures to you, the action to you rather. Tom Whitney from the northern end. It's a bit full and wide, but the best the Crump was able to do was just ease it into the covers. It was easily fielded. Getting more response at the moment, so we are working on these technical issues. So as I say, no runs off the first 7 deliveries of the match. An extraordinary beginning to the under-19 final here at Fred Kratzmann Oval. Lofted, through the hands. A diving effort. It was a full delivery from Whitney, a little bit wide. It's gone for 4. It was dug out by Crump. It flew to Adam Kerr at Point or Gully. Apologies for the angle. But he just wasn't able to get up quickly enough because it flew off Crump's bat and it has gone for a boundary. Sukhchand Grewal, we are aware there is no video. Thank you for, sorry, that's not a complaint. Video's just come on. Video has just come on. And the scoreboard is catching up. It's none for 4. Whitney bowling to Crump. Crump plays it just into Gully, and the slip fielder, which is a wonderful luxury to have in the third over of a T20 game, has been able to run around and get it. So 5 runs off this over. And thank you to Speckled Rooster. The studio itself called in to say we're working on the video. We thank you for your work. And finally, well not finally, everyone's working as quickly as they can, but we are here to bring you the final of the under-19 male Brisbane Premier League. I'll talk about the women soon. But now that we're here, let's enjoy this game. The angle of the camera is fine, Elliot, no need to move it. Pushed into the offside, socket through. Tom Whitney showing that he can not only bat, bowl, field and captain, but can also get a free kick Ronaldo style over a wall. So the total inching along after a maiden over to begin with from Dipinder Singh. Tom Whitney, a fall which was nearly a well, it was a chance, but I defy, I don't think Adam Kerr should cop any criticism for missing that catch. Whitney firing them down. This will be the first delivery he bowls, however, to Ashton Gum. Swatted. Brilliant diving effort in the outfield. It landed just short of square leg. I didn't realise there was a chance for a while. But in the end, they've run 2. And a superb diving effort, I think, from Stephen Timms in the outfield. I'll get that for you. Elliot Lyons, welcome back. Not a bad ball to return.
Yeah, plenty of excitement happening in the first couple of overs here, folks, and apologies for the lack of video. It's excitement central here for this big final.
There was too much excitement for your eyes. We didn't want you to burn it.
Contain yourself. 2 very talented batsmen at the crease.
Dinked, I say, into the offside by Lachlan Crump. End of Whitney's first over, sorry.
We've got the best cream of the crop, really, out there in the middle, folks, in the under-19s. Queensland, Queensland rather. And a great contest between bat and ball already.
And the Darling Dingoes, no
We
wicket
have
for 8,
missed
no wicket for
the
8.
two
Darling
semi-finals
Dingoes up
earlier
2
today.
overs.
We saw an incredible
Pinder Singh now coming
first
in
semi-final,
for
the
the
Darling
second
Dingoes against the Northern Kings. Northern Kings were a dominant team as well, and the Darling Dingoes got up.
They more than get up, they're dominated, that's said clearly. As Javinder Singh continues. A lot of wide bowling, that's been slapped, no timing, and some excellent fielding by Stephen Teams make sure that one is the most they can even think about.
Two batsmen in the crease both play their club cricket together with each other at the Gold Coast Dolphins.
Fair way from Gold Coast to Toowoomba.
Long way, and that's the beauty of franchise cricket. And it's unreal that it's been taken to this level through the BPL.
Singh just putting his length back slightly, and it was very well respected by Crump.
Bowled an incredible spell in that second semi-final to Pinder Singh for the Waveriders. He did miss that one, folks. 3 overs, 1 for 27, but the figures don't tell the full story. He opened up and really set the tone from the get-go for the Waveriders, and here they are in the final.
Created a lot of chances for him, we can see. Clipped off the legs. It's gone to wide mid-on. Excellent fielding from Schubert. Had a shy at the bowler's end stumps, and as you see, just went through to the cover fielder backing up. So the Dingoes certainly not getting away from the Waveriders, but not being tied down over either. Amazing first over from Singh.
Yeah, absolutely, and they won't want either of these two batsmen to get set, so an early wicket key here.
Missed times, but there's never any danger. Got his head nicely over the ball.
So Crump, 79, his highest score so far in this competition. And as the skipper of the Dingoes, he'll be looking to lead his team by example here. It's a club cricket teammate, Ashton Gum, down the other end. 50 in the opening round of the district competition. Looking in good nick as well.
Just on the pads, it'll go through 4 leg by, some good backing up from Crump. Turning for 2, in fact that may have gone all the way. 4 leg buys, and while leg buys aren't debited to the bowler, he did stray onto the legs there, so I think Singh has to take some leg there.
Yeah, just strayed his line there, and we're still in the power play, so only 2 men out. He's got 1 at third man and 1 at deep square, so no protection there at fine leg.
Bowls probably he won't need. Still straight onto the legs, that was full. A lovely clip out to that deep square leg fielder. Swept for 1, and a very good throw in from the outfield. As Singh completes his second over.
Yeah, very elegant batsman, Ashton Gum. And 1 for 15, they won't mind that, the Waveriders. The Dingoes, their first power play of the day, only yielded 7 runs in their first 4 overs, so already a better start than they had this morning. They still managed to get up for the win in there, so a huge comeback from them, but a very, very strong side. So they're going to need to play their best here today to get up against this extremely talented Gold Coast outfit.
It's the biggest test of both sides. Maybe a dumb thing to say in a final game. Beats the outside edge, Tom Whitney. He's bowled with fire today. Controlled fire. It's backburning. He's bowling backburning.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal so far today, and it's been great to have the front row seat to watch it. The best thing that we've loved, Daniel, is the first slip. Haven't seen that much in T20 cricket so far in the BPL, but he's kept the first slip in all day, so it's very attacking, fast bowling, and we love to see it.
Beats the outside edge again. That was a flirt. There was no footwork. That was the only possible consequence of that shot was getting out.
Yeah, and that's a classic channel there with slump line. Can't do much with that. And although there are only 2 men out, probably more concerned with just batting themselves in here, the 2 Darling Dingoes openers. But he's really bending his back. Whitney, keeper must be 20 or 30 metres back. He's really sending him down.
I'd like to get a side up view to see where Self is in relation to the circle. Right. Slightly ill-directed. That'll go through for 5 wides. And I would get that ball for them, except health and safety. But Lachlan Schubert will come around to do the fielding. And, well, we've seen Whitney bowl for an entire T20 match and then an over and a half here. I can't remember him bowling. That's his first genuinely bad delivery. Yeah,
it looked like he was searching for a bit more of a body line kind of angle there. Fast bowler, ruffle up the opener. He's got protection back at deep square, but it's run away for 4, and that's not handy at all.
This is beautiful bowling. That was just your classic first class line that he bowled, back of the length, off bail bowl.
It's beautiful to watch here. Can bat as well.
Oh yes.
Skipper of the Waveriders, he's got it all going for him. Really good to see him just let loose here. He's been a little bit constrained all BPL, so he's come to the party on finals day, and that's when it matters most, especially as a skipper.
Little step across from Gum there. Chance at the bowler's end. Did the right thing by shying for the stumps, but just wasn't able to hit the pegs from side on. But Ashton Gum looking to do something different to break the rhythm of Whitney.
Yeah, and he's done pretty well to not run himself out there. There probably wasn't a single in that. Chance the arm of the cover field's been unlucky not to be in the sheds really there, Dan.
Yeah, Tom Sipple didn't look like he was far away with that throw from right mid off.
Thriving on big spell so far from the skipper.
Just a little shorter and dinked from Hubert towards Gully, and just the single to Lachlan Crump. The over ends, and well, the Dingoes have survived the power play. They haven't thrived, but they'll be pleased to be none down, having seen off 4 pretty classy overs. And I've called the over early. I apologise and forgot about the wides.
Just that one straying down the leg side there. 22 runs on the power play so far, so balance.
Just a little short. And when he finds that bail length, it's pretty much impossible to get away. When he just gets towards the ribs, he at least concedes a single, which is hardly a disaster. For the Gold Coast Waveriders, who have made a very impressive start to this final of the Brisbane Premier League Under-19 men's division.
Yeah, and hats off to the groundsman here at Redlands Cricket Club. The wicket is holding up beautifully. The outfield is just in pristine conditions, and probably couldn't ask for a better ground for this inaugural Under-19s final game.
Oh, I don't know, I think the SCG might have been good.
Wouldn't have been too bad.
The Basin Reserve in Wellington. Newlands in Cape Town. Yeah, so, yeah, you're wrong actually. There are plenty of better ground. No, it's beautiful out here, and this is the second field at Redlands. Deepinder Singh again. Beautiful. Pitched up delivery, dug out, and Lachlan Schubert, who had his fielding problems in the semi-final, has put them right behind him by taking a sharp chance at mid-on. First breakthrough for the Gold Coast Waveriders, and they've done it without letting the Dingoes get away from them one bit.
And that's Ashton Gum. He's an aggressive batsman, so that's a big wicket for the Waveriders. And Schubert, we saw him spill a couple in the semi, but he hung on to the one that counted, and that's 1 down for the Dingoes.
Danny Young coming to the crease. Now, if you didn't see the first semi-final this morning, the full replay is available on YouTube, and I'd highly recommend you go back and watch it, particularly, and I'm going to use this joke again, if you've got a boring work meeting this week, just get it out, tell your boss you're doing research, and have a look at Danny Young's performance with bat and ball from the first semi.
It was crucial. Victory for the Dingoes in the semi, and it's going to need to be crucial in the final here if there's any chance of a victory. The Dingoes.
What was main scoring areas in that semi? Can you remember?
the thing that stood out for me was how he worked into his innings. He didn't come out trying to hit the big shots early, run a ball, knocking it around the field spread, so he just worked the field, and then very strong through the cover region, plays well through mid-wicket as well, and played spin very well as well, so bowls off spin himself, so had the knocker on the spinners from the other team too, so hopefully his eye's in and he can keep going here.
Would you like to hear something unsurprising from the world of the live chat?
Yeah.
In a moment. Got away with that one. That was a wide delivery from Singh. Got the under edge through to the keeper. The Charlie Self fan club is back. Tom Fitzner, thank you for your contributions in the semi-final and also here in the final. This is interactive. Remember, this is almost more your tournament than it is ours. We're privileged to be here, but the tournament belongs to the players and the fans. Stuttering run up from Singh, a mishit undercut from Young, and a slight fumble with the gloves. That was really very bad cricket.
Early days. Don't want to read into too much. Danny Young, he's been on all year, averaging just a touch under 40 with the bat and just a touch over 20 with the ball, so genuine all-rounder.
Lovely. Beautiful timing. It probably won't reach the boundary because there is a sweeper. I take that back. Bailey Sewell was tearing around the point boundary, but the timing was just too good from Danny Young. It was a push. It was clearly a good bat, but more importantly, the bat arrived on the leather at just the right time.
Yeah, classic batsmanship there again by Danny Young. And that's what he did so well in the semi. Waited for the ball in his areas and made the most of it, made the bowler pay. Signs are looking good here early. Touch wood.
Well, it touched the wood, it touched the edge of the wood, it's gone down to the third man boundary. Good diving save on that boundary. They've come back for two. The throw was good but a little wide, and so that's an easy 2 runs added to Danny Young.
It's been a big BPL from Singh. Consistently taken wickets. And he's got the breakthrough here for the Waveriders. 9 wickets so far.
Wide again. Good hands on it at point. I think that's, no, it's not Shoe, but I'll get it for you in a moment. But he's been able to cut it down to just a single. As Singh completes his 3rd over, and 5 overs down, Elliot?
5 overs down and 1 for 10 for Singh, so very tidy figures to kick things off.
And as we discovered last game, no shortage of quick bowlers for the Waveriders. Of course, Dale D'Souza, Sam Willis with his very crafty medium pace, and then several spin options, most notably with Sippel and Schubert, the leg spin twins.
Some leg spin feature quite heavily in BPL cricket.
I think apart from anything else, bowling leg spin is fun. I think it's one of those things where, particularly sort of in the post-war era, i.e. your whole life, the idea of picking up a ball and just flicking it as hard as you can is just good fun to do. And it is Tom Sippel who's coming in the 6th over, bowled very well in the semi-final, and he'll be bowling to to Danny Young. So turning it back into him, I don't believe the whole thing about turning it in is easier to play. If it's good bowling, it's always hard. Tossed up, met on the full by Young, no run to cut.
Yeah, we'll say it again, very key here for the spinner to land his first couple and not have too much damage against his figures early. Get a bit of confidence up.
A bit flatter. Young went for a cut shot off a full delivery. If he had a second chance at that, I don't think that's the shot he'd play.
You know what else is an art, Dan? Is bowling spin with the new ball. It's the invention that T20 cricket has brought on. Never really happened before that.
Cut, and it's cut just forward of point out to the sweeper at deep point. I'll disagree with you slightly there, Elias.
Unless you're in the subcontinent. Can I preface it with that?
Okay, I get that. But no, there were days back in the very early days of cricket when you would open with a spinner. Mind you, some of those were full ball tampering laws where you get some teams who would take the ball, rub it into dirt for a few minutes and then open with the spinner.
Even the new ball.
Especially. The reverse sweeps come out early. There's an appeal, first from Gully and then from the bowler. That if you want to get a successful appeal, that's not normally the order you want. As a car alarm goes off over deep mid-wicket. So with all due respect to Tom Sipple, I hope that the next shot is put by Lachlan up through that car. He thought about it, but no, hit it back to the bowler, and not so much fielded as blocked by Sipple.
Traditionally a really good player of spin, seen him nail that reverse sweep quite a few times to spinners in the nets down at the Dolphins.
Sipple flighted chance. Difficult chance, but I believe that did get to him on the full. If you're watching the replay and go, what are you talking about, Daniel? I respect your opinion. But nonetheless, a good ball from Sipple and only a single to finish the over. Griff, your Charlie Self Fan Club t-shirt is in the mail. And a good first 6 overs from the Waveriders.
And a great opening set from Sipple. Just 2 runs coming off his first over. So as a spinner in the final first over, you want to find your range, you want to find your zones, you want to get your confidence up either with a wicket or a tight over, and he's got that Sipple. So can he carry that into the rest of his spell as we see big change of bowler?
An important change. Sam Willis critical in making sure that there was no reprieve from the wonderful spell of the opening bowlers in the semi-final. Just medium pace, but his ability to cut the ball away from the right-hander was impressive. Just straight onto the pads. That's knocked out to Schubert on the boundary. They've run hard. Run the first one hard, says the old coach, and it has resulted in 2.
Yeah, and a nice shot there by Auckland Crump. Straight onto his pads there and got the nice straight bat and just worked it through mid-on for 2. So good running there by Danny Young at the non-striker's end.
I agree with Mitch LeBron. It is a great start from the Waveriders. Pulled, unconvincingly, managed to land in safety, more by luck than design, just the 1 run.
Yeah, so we saw the Waveriders set Bayside Pirates 176 in their semi-final, and the Dingoes only managed 126 in theirs, so big discrepancy in run rate there. Dingoes being held pretty tightly so far, just ticking along at 5 and over.
We're interested to see if D'Souza is introduced earlier in this innings than he was in the semi. Just a foolish delivery, that'll go for 4. It wasn't a completely well-timed shot, but it was into the gap on the leg side, and this outfield is immaculate. So Willis just not finding his range there, and to be honest, his shoulders look a little bit low. He shouldn't be despondent after just 1 bad ball.
Yeah, and really aggressive field here from the Waveriders. They've got a 7-2 field set for their strike paceman. 6-3, sorry.
Lofted into the leg side, that'll go for 4 again. In the end, didn't time it, but it is over the legs, pretty much the same spot. If he times one, we'll go for 6, but consecutive boundaries. Sam O'Neill, can we sub the commentators? No. Actually, no.
And a pretty safe shot there for the left-hander. And they put protection in, long on comes in. 5-4 field now. So as we mentioned, folks, this outfield is lightning.
Dabbed into the offside. A little bit of finesse, good backing up. There was a throw-in from point, it went straight past the stumps, and it needed some sure fielding on the leg side to prevent 1 becoming 5.
Yeah, so it was a bit of an interesting field there to the left-hander. We see Sam Willis bring it into the left-hander, and they left mid-on vacant. So it was a bit of a risk-free shot, those 2 boundaries. So a couple of freebies early in that over for Danny Young.
false start from Willis. That kept low. Crump did well to make sure that any danger was averted. So not his best over, Sam Willis, but I still believe he has an important role to play for this Waveriders side.
Yeah, and that was a better line to the right-hander. Stump line, making Crump play outside off stump.
I don't normally recommend a right-arm bowler go around the wicket to a left-hander immediately. With Willis, because he gets that cut back inside, and remember left-handed batters are used to facing right-arm bowlers over the wicket, so the change of angle doesn't really suit them either. I think Sybil might be one person who would be advised to go around the wicket early.
And we saw D'Souza do that so well in the semi-final as well, so we take a trick out of this book.
Sybil. A full delivery. No call from the square leg umpire, so it's just been baseball batted to centre field. Good throw, a direct hit, and then a second chance at the keeper's end. In the end, the scorebook will just record 2. Lots of action missed.
Yeah, a bit of a freebie there for Danny Young, and really the first loose ball that we've seen Sybil bowl, so missed out there. Danny Young.
Much better length. That's an undercut. Well fielded at third man by D'Souza, and the throw didn't miss by much. A direct hit would have been very interesting. Crump not with a life, but with a scare.
Yeah, really athletic fielding there at third man by D'Souza. We'll see him feature at some point, the leading wicket taker in the competition. Saw the Waveriders hold him back in the semi-final. Seems like they're doing the same again here.
It ain't broke. Flighted, very calmly played by Crump. Got over the top of that one and just an easy single to long on.
Beautiful shot there by Crump. Plays spin so well. And just settling in here, the Dingoes. Field spread, and they're just happy to knock 1s and 2s around, it seems, Stan.
Sybil pushed that one through quickly. It's hit down to long on. Fielder coming round. It just landed a few metres in front. Ends up knocking it in front of himself a few metres. Might be Sewell down there. I'll just get the binoculars out. But not a clever shot by the batters. In fact, it was Stephen Timms down there at long on who put in a good effort. But yeah, I defy anyone to catch that in under normal circumstances.
Safe shot though. That cow corner region is open, so that shot's on.
The attempted reverse sweep is a 0 from 1 from Danny Young.
That one was probably more in the slot for the slog sweep that he played in the previous delivery than the reverse there.
And D'Souza's already shown he's got third man covered. Again, a slog sweep. This is well and truly into the gap. Timms won't get that a catch, but it did plug in the outfield, and so they run 2. Not quite timed by Young, but he is turning the strike over. Still, Sybil was able to land all of those and have a fairly good over for himself.
Yeah, hard to get away, the spinner. 10 runs coming off his first 2 overs. But Dingoes, these two boys putting a bit of a partnership here and both starting to look like they're getting a little bit more settled at the crease, but this man might have something to say for that.
He has come in early. Should point out in the semi-final, the Waveriders got on top very early through Singh and Whitney. D'Souza they held back, and possibly so that he still had plenty of gas in the tank for this match. It's one thing to be the leading wicket taker. It's an additional thing, not necessarily a whole other thing, but an additional thing to be someone you can rely on in the match where it matters. That was quick, well driven. It's gone out to wide mid-on where Schubert feels very surely and keeps it to a single and even hits the stumps on the way through.
Yes, I'll have to think twice about taking on his arm down there at long on. But we saw D'Souza get a wicket on his first ball in the semi-final, and that was almost an action replay of the delivery, stump to stump, full, and Crump able to just jam that one out.
Why not start with Yorker? Quite honestly, it's a very good delivery if you've got a Yorker in your arsenal. no point having a pre-show.
Exactly right. So Dale D'Souza plays his club cricket at Redlands. We'll be having a bit more of a look up the grades after his BPL so far. He's bowling a 4 for 8 so far in the BPL. So we'll pick up a couple of cracker-jack wickets in the semi-final.
D'Souza again. One thing he doesn't do well is disguise his slower ball, and that was both easy to read and down leg side.
So here's that strategy that you were talking about, Dan, with the bowler coming around the wicket to the left-hander. D'Souza does it almost every time.
Yeah, it depends what he's doing off the wicket. The thing about Willis is that he cuts it into the left-hander, more effective from around. D'Souza. Pitched up delivery, but on the half volley and nicely pushed to the cover sweeper from Young.
Danny Young's just a class act. Even just that ease through the offside, just leans on it, and his shape is just impeccable. So beautiful technique for any youngsters watching out there.
You're 25, you don't get to talk about youngsters, Elliot.
Feeling 55 after a big day in the sun today in the combox.
Wrinkled prune. D'Souza over the wicket. Short delivery, whacked, that's into the gap, it's 4 runs. It didn't really bounce off the pitch, it sat up nicely for Lachlan Crum. Just turned it behind square on the leg side into rather a lot of vacant space.
Yeah, put it in the car park and there's not much vacant space in there though, Dan. It's a great shot by Lachlan Crum. Classic little shot of sorts. Brings up the boundary, it's his second for the day.
Not a great delivery, not a great shot. I should point out that we need to comment on what's happening in front of us. There clearly is a little kink in the elbow of the bowling arm of Dale D'Souza when he bowls over. All I can say is that the process for assessing bowling actions these days is so thorough that I'm certain that that's been addressed and cleared by now. So we've got to talk about what's in front of us. Paul hasn't got all of it. It will land safely just in front of Tim's. Tim's misfields, which will allow for a second run. To be fair, there's probably a second there anyway.
Yeah, and it really dug into the pitch there once it landed in the outfield. So Crump gets his pitching wedge out there on that pull shot. Can't see the field on the camera, folks, but they've got a sweeper at cover, a deep third man. Fine leg, deep square, and a long on for D'Souza.
Again, attempted something different, and okay, it hasn't worked, but a bowler has to experiment. I'll forgive that from D'Souza.
He's got protection out there. He's going to bowl wide hole. And at deep cover.
I'll ask you for a total pitch at the end of this over, Ellis. Much better delivery. A Yorker just outside the off stump, squeezed away to the, well, let's call it a cover sweeper. It's probably more deep point. 1 run to finish the over. And the Dingoes, well, there's certainly no collapse happening. They've weathered the storm. And there's just a few signs that they may be able to launch from here, which is a nice segue into Elliot assessing where the innings is going.
Yeah, so they're running along at 7 and over here, the Dingoes. 7 and over will take them to about a total of 140. If these two guys can stay in here, if they can get themselves in, they've still got the power surge up their sleeve. And you feel like they're going to need a total pushing 160, 170 if they want to challenge this Waveriders side. Stacked batting lineup for Waveriders. But I feel like a lot of responsibility falls on the 2 men at the crease at the moment, Dan.
And the good news is they are accepting that responsibility. Lachlan Schubert enters the bowling attack with a full toss, bunted down to left field this time. If you're going to play a baseball shot, I'll commentate with baseball terms. And now Schubert to the left-hander, so a freebie full toss may not be quite so cheap on this occasion.
Yeah, and Crump wasn't happy with himself there. Missed out on the full toss. Schubert bowled well in the semi-final though. Just needed to find his range here. They've got a couple of great leggies, the Waveriders.
He recovered well, didn't he, after a shaky start. Round armish action. Young tried to be a little too cute. And Self was there, waiting for any tickle that might have come his way.
Yeah, bowling with his cap on, Schubert. Did that in a semi as well.
Clary Grimmett did it all the time. That is a slog sweep. It's going to be caught though. Caught at deep mid-wicket. Young didn't really go after that fully. He sort of caressed it out to the deep mid-wicket boundary, and nothing wrong with that if you hit it to the gap. He didn't, and that is a crucial wicket for the Waveriders. They've just taken a little step deeper into this match.
Yeah, and don't they know it, Dan? The Waveriders really celebrating that wicket, and why wouldn't you? That's Danny Young, huge wicket for the Waveriders, and a big loss for the Dingoes. He featured so heavily in the semi, and he's been their hero, really, throughout the whole BPL. So a big wicket there for the Waveriders, and he's disappointed, Dan.
Look, he is, because he knows he's better than that, and he knows he made an error. He won't need any recriminations from that. Best of luck to him for the grade season. And of course, I don't mean to sort of completely wish him well, because he's got a bowling performance yet. It's still very early in this final. As Ruben Berger makes his way to the crease, the number 2. And from memory, he scored a few in the semi-final. I'm interested in your thoughts on him, Elliot, as they're 2 down in the 10th over, as Mitchell LeBron puts up the call for Shubes again.
Shubes, he's done the trick again for the Waveriders. He did it in the semis, and that's a huge wicket. I still can't believe that. Danny Young almost just paddled it down the throat of deep square, so in 2 minds really, and it's proved to be his undoing.
And unfortunately, Shube can't follow the good delivery with another good delivery, and sees one.
So they've crossed that big shot out into the deep, and Lachlan Crump's got himself on the strike.
Better delivery from Schubert, just the one false delivery before he was back online, and just a nice little professional single to Lachlan.
Yeah, and a lot falls on skipper Lachlan Crump now. Interesting to see how he plays this, whether he puts the foot down or just continues to knock the ones around until Rubenberger gets himself a bit more in. Remember, they do have the power surge up their sleeve. 2 overs, they can take any over after 10. Force the fielding side to around 2 men out.
Very well telegraphed. Quicker delivery from Schubert. Might need to work on slowing down his run up if he wants to surprise with a quicker ball.
Probably lucky not to get a wide there as well.
Very close. They're flirting with it again, but as long as it lands inside the line, the umpires will let it go. Am I right in saying that's the halfway mark of the innings?
It's the halfway mark, Dan, and they managed to put the brakes on there, the Waveriders. The Dingoes now at 2 for 66. So, power surge is still to come, but they've got a new man at the crease.
1 for 66 was well set up. 2 for 66, and it's just happened. I'd like to know, based on what you saw in the semi, who are the accelerators in the batting lineup for the Dingoes? I mean, Justin Faber, there looks to be someone who can swing the willow a little bit.
And Danny Young was their go-to man in the semi to put the foot down, so they've left a lot of responsibility on some of the lower order pinch hitters, and the captain, of course, Lachlan Crump. As D'Souza comes in, and Crump just rocks on the back foot and pulls that one wide of mid-on, and they settle for 1.
I've been impressed with the outfielding of Stephen Timms today, wearing the number 10 shirt. You may see him run across camera in a moment. Made a couple of errors in the semi-final, but generally speaking, he's been quick to the ball and quick to release with good flat throws.
Yeah, so Rubenberger, a hard-hitting middle-order batsman for the Dingoes. Going to need him to get a couple away here. They've got protection everywhere on the leg side. Just a man protecting the single at mid-wicket. He drops that under his eyes to points, and they get through for a single. Score moves along to 68. Looks like they're just happy to maybe just knock the ones around for a couple of overs, Dan.
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 overs are usually around just to consolidate. And they need to work out which bowl to attack. Tricky choice.
And that's a bit fuller there by D'Souza, and Crump just punts it to mid-off on the ring, and it's a dot.
It's a nut destroyer, that one. He's just checking the bottom of it, but the number of times you see a chip fly out of the bat, the handle just suddenly comes a little bit loose. I'm glad it hasn't resulted in a bat change for Crump.
It's the most expensive we've seen D'Souza this whole competition so far. Oh, and that's a classy shot by Lachlan Crump. Just backed away and lofted it over the men on the ring for a 4, and that's a great shot and a valuable boundary for the Dingoes.
Cleared the front leg. I like that D'Souza pitches the ball up because it gives the ball a chance to move and do its magic. The risk you take with that, of course, is that you can bowl the wrong kind of half volley and induce a great shot, and that was just superb as you described.
He's gone again, Crump, but just going to squeeze out to the cover sweeper, and it'll just be 1. Like he was looking for a similar kind of shot there, Dan.
Yeah, just got it off the outside of the bat. It was slightly shorter and maybe slightly wider as well. So, given the way he played the first shot, where he sort of cleared the front leg and made room for himself, maybe actually needed to move the front foot a bit more towards the ball rather than just clearing the other way. That was a weird description, but I think you know what I mean. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out.
It's a song, just a little dress rehearsal there for D'Souza.
Yeah, I think he lost his footing. Made very sure that the non-striker knew that he wasn't trying to man-cat or anything like that. I don't know whether you saw a video during the week, women's match, definitely Cameroon involved. Trying to remember the other country, possibly Uganda, more in a moment.
D'Souza bangs that one in, and Rubenberger just leans on it down to third man, and they get through for a single, which will conclude D'Souza's second over. 1 from 19 from his 2, so gets to bring about a wicket, which is what he's been able to do this whole competition.
And he gave himself a chance there. It's just that Crump was good enough. Crump was good enough to score runs from him. And yes, the Dingoes, to get that many runs off the opposition strike bowler, they're still on track for a 130. Maybe that at least gives their bowlers something to defend. The women's match I was talking about, one of the Cameroonian fast bowlers had clearly learned that man-catting was a thing, and I'm pretty sure she affected, it was either 4 or 5 in the innings, and it actually got a bit awkward after a while. Oh, someone needs to tell her that's not really how you do it.
Schubert to continue, drags that one down. Berger happy to just rock back on the back foot and cut that one out to the man on the covered boundary. Ticking along at just under 7 and over here, the Dingoes.
It's a launch pad.
That's a great delivery by Schubert. It pitched on about leg stump and ripped wide of off stump. And Crump went back to tickle it round to the offside, but playing a miss, and a terrific delivery by the leg spinner. Crump gets down on one knee, and the slog sweep clears the fence, and that's a maximum. The first one for Crump, the second for the Dingoes, and they move along to 81. Great shot, Lachlan Crump, and unlucky there, really, the bowler.
No.
Tossed it up, but still got to take it on, and there is a man on the fence, so great T20 batting, Crump. Tickles that one around the corner, and one bounce to the man at deep backward, just for 1.
Fascinating little contest that was. Schubert versus Crump. Schubert completely tying Crump in knots, then Crump being far more decisive, depositing over the fence. So 1 win each and then a draw.
Schubert again giving it a rip. And Berger just rocks back and happy to just tick away at ones, get himself in. Smart batting here by Rubenberger. Loving this battle between Crump and Schubert.
I liked Berger's footwork there, and he just waited on the ball as well. Didn't go chasing it. Said, no, I'll wait till you come to me and then I'll make it play a shot.
And he's hit that leg stump line again, and Crump just back on his back foot turns it onto the onside, and they get through for a single. So that concludes Schubert's second over, and a fruitful one for the Dingoes.
I know one ball went for 6, but that was an impressive over, possibly the best over that Schubert's bowled today. The way his flight is clearly troubling Crump, and for Crump to, the one ball that he conquered, he used his feet decisively, but there are a few times where Schubert not only landed it on the spot where the batter's not quite sure whether to go forward or back, but the trajectory to get it there caused further confusion. And yeah, there's a lot to like about the way Schubert's bowling at the moment.
Yeah, great leg spin bowling, and unlucky not to pick up a wicket there. That ball, second one, that over, pitched on leg stump, just ripped wide of off. He joins us at mid-off here, and didn't mind the look of that one out either. Looks like Willis to continue. Crump just flicks it over mid-wicket. Sorry, it's more of a wide mid-on. Make it through for a one, but a classy looking shot there by Crump.
More good outfielding from Timms. But you're right, that was a lovely flick. And Willis just a little full on that occasion. I feel that at his pace, he's a little bit of he just pulls him back into the shot.
So they've got the power surge up their sleeves still, the Dingoes. Interesting to see when they use that. As Willis comes in here to Berger. Defends to the onside from the dive.
Yeah, like I was saying, I feel Willis is more effective when he just drops that length back a little bit. So, but again, also because he gets those leg cutters, Berger wouldn't have faced too much of him, and that cramped him for room because it hit the deck, and well, it made Berger change his mind about what shot to play.
Partnership forming here for the Dingoes. Willis in again, and a great shot by Berger. Square drive, just leant on it and rolled his hands over it. Comes back for two, and that was a glorious shot for two, Dan.
It was a nice looking shot. Rolled circle the ball can be a bit of a lost skill, particularly in the era of range hitting and hitting over the top. To get a batter who says, no, I'm going to do it old style, like it.
He does look like a classic batsman, Berger. And drops that one in on the offside, and the pressure was on. Not out called. He did hit the stumps. So a tight single there for the Dingoes, and great fielding by Bailey Sewell for the Gold Coast Waveriders.
Not the first time we've said that today. Sewell's been excellent in the inner ring. The field is clearly someone that we can rely on to make sure that every run inside the circle is hard earned. So we didn't touch on an interesting change of bowler here for the Waveriders. D'Souza's just pulled up after 2 overs, and Willis has come on. He has done a job though. He has indeed. Sorry, just reading the Salts of Love online. I'll get to that in a moment.
Crump right across his stumps there, and Willis followed him, and he bunted it out to the man at point on the ring with the dot.
He did wait on that well though, made sure he didn't hit it in the air. So they're keeping wickets in hand. They'll need to work out when the assault begins. It's a bit hard to assault Whitney, so they'll have to work out who they do it against.
Listen again, full toss. Crump flicks that one over a vacant mid-wicket and picks up an easy boundary. That's money for Jam there, Dan.
The placement was better than the timing, but the timing was good enough. As a 2-footed high jump from Stephen Timms clears the fence. End of the over, and look, I don't think Willis did too much wrong in that over, but the batters were awake to it, and they are setting a very good platform for the Dingoes. Just a few things from the chat, if I can. So firstly, Will C has reported back on some stats for Charlie Self behind the stumps. He's the second most dismissals in the comp, missing 2 games whilst playing for the Lions Academy in Aussie Rules. I think Self must be in the team of the tournament. I can forward that on to the people who choose that if you like. Jack Chapman is further pushing the Self push for our team of the tournament. Sammy Walsh is weighing the relative merits of the future career sporting career of Charlie. A bit of praise for Cooper Mackey in the field, and more on that later.
Lots to love about the way that the Dingoes are getting into their work here. We see to continue, Sippel rather.
Is this his 4th and 5?
This is his 3rd over. Sippel, he's only gone for 10 so far. That'll be 11 now. He's got 5 men out though. 100 up his first couple of overs, so things were pretty tight.
That is more certain. Even Bergen.
Crump gets down on one knee right across his stumps. There's no man at fine leg, and it's clever batting by the skipper of the Dingoes, and he picks up another boundary. There's a lot to love about the way the skipper's going about this, Dan, and that's another boundary to the total.
Most intelligent shot we've seen today, because he's right. He clearly looked around and saw, hang on, that entire quadrant is bare. There's no one between short third man and backward square leg. So he played an awkward looking shot, but he did enough. It wasn't timed by any stretch, but he had so much field to play with.
And the reverse now, he plays that one so well, but he picks out the man on the ring at third man, and they get through for a single.
Thus proving that a well-placed mistimed shot will yield more runs than a perfectly timed misplaced shot.
Yeah.
Next on Cricket Philosophy, we bring it... No.
Brings Berger onto strike. He just leans on that one, and they're turning the strike over nicely here, the Dingoes. A left-hand, right-hand combination. Hard to adjust for the spinner.
It has played with the bowler's lines a little bit. I think we have to acknowledge that the line maps had access to those a little bit more waving here than they were in the semi.
And Crump just dabs that one, and third man's had a misfield. They'll come back for two. Looks like they might push for three. No, they'll settle for two. So Crump just guided that one down past third man. Misfield.
Should have went down with his left hand and just misjudged it for whatever reason, but he did recover and chase the ball hard when he threw it.
Crump was lining up that 3:45 region there. Sanson plays that one a little more conventionally. And a dot and a man at points. So the 100 up for the Dingoes, 2 for 101 after 14. And where do you see things going from here then?
101 after 14. They've lost, I mean, normally at this point of the innings, with that kind of score, you'd say, well, they're on track for 160, 170. The problem is they've got to face the pace of people like Tom Whitney, like Japinder Singh, like Dale D'Souza, and as you rightly pointed out there earlier, we saw the whirligig signal from the umpire, which means the power play is on. Cue Dale D'Souza.
Yeah, we thought this might have been what they were saving him for, and the power surge is called, so they let Berger get his eye in. He's faced 10 rocks now, and Crump's just brought up his 50, so they're both pretty much ready to rock and roll now.
Apologies for not calling that the moment it happened. Congratulations to Lachlan Crump, who has shown aggression and restraint at different times in this innings and done it cleverly.
Yeah, it's been a great innings. Captain's knock, just what they needed in the Grandy. The big dance and big players come to the party. So just the two men out, and to the lefty they've opted for long off and deep cover. So D'Souza, he's got 2 overs in the tank. This is his first, and it looks like Berger's dealing with some flies or bees of some sort as he backs away. Unless he's just playing mind games with D'Souza.
No, I'm pretty sure the very rare and tropical Wellington Point wasp just flew into his helmet.
Full toss, and Berger leans into it, but they do have protection out there, so it'll just be one.
Good place to put protection. The default for a fast bowler is just third man fine leg. D'Souza, he's not express pace, he's quick enough, and he has been given permission to bowl full and wide to make sure that you can set a field for it. Deep point or deep cover, perfect positioning for what he's intending to bowl. And just to reinforce that, Schubert at long off has been pushed wider.
It's long on to the right-hander. Full, and Crump digs that one out over mid-off. 1 bounce, 4 runs, and he's looking pretty good, Dan.
That was an excellent shot. Again, read the length. Now, D'Souza's modus operandi is clearly to pitch the ball up, make the ball draw the error. For whatever reason, it's not working at the moment. So does he have a plan B to revert to, or is he the wrong bowler for this situation?
D'Souza in again. Crump can't beat the infield on that occasion, but that was a glorious lofted off drive of sorts by Crump on that previous delivery. And he's looking at a great touch. D'Souza, great comeback there.
There's some talk online about who's actually on top at the moment, and I think the fact that there's disagreement is indicative.
D'Souza again rolls his fingers over it, and Crump goes for it again, beats the man at mid-off, and it's sort of just gets stuck in the outfield here. The man at mid-off mops it up, and it's just two, and he hits the stump sort of full, on the full, so pretty the razor arms out. The Gold Coast Waveriders, they've hit the stumps from everywhere on the boundary.
Stephen Timms has had a good day. That was him who saved it. It wasn't a well-timed shot, but it looked like it was going to roll over until Timms, for the second time this innings, second time today anyway, just reeled it in, and then, as you say, a very accurate throw.
So Crump's lofted it over mid-off twice this over, but still no protection back. That one's short. And Crump on the back foot pulls it out to the sweeper at mid-wicket, and it'll just be one. So one to come in the first over of the power surge here.
And whereas the power surge throughout the tournament has yielded wickets, D'Souza unable to make it count so far. Just a bit of a chat between numbers 1 and 2. Crump just letting Berger know possibly where the gaps are, what maybe he thinks D'Souza's about to bowl.
Again, and he's lofted that over mid-wicket, and Berger brings up his first boundary. That's a glorious shot over mid-wicket. The field's up, and that crashes into the white picket fence to end the first over of the power surge down.
And again from D'Souza, nothing wrong with pitching the ball up, but there's been no variation of length, and pretty much knew what was coming. Maybe that was the topic of conversation between Crump and Berger between the over, just preempt it, play for the pitched up delivery. He did try to loft it, and it probably only cleared the mid-wicket fielder by a metre or so, but it was a safe enough shot, and once you clear the infield, that's pretty much a boundary. Thank you for all the comments on the live chat. I'm having trouble keeping up with it and also doing my job, which is commentating on the game, but no, we do thank you for the contribution. Hopefully you're having fun among yourselves as well. Like I don't speak for a living, I can be in trouble.
It's a great delivery to start the second over here. Tom Whitney brought himself back on for the second over of the power surge, and he hits the block hole, first rock. That's where you want him.
It's been said there are two types of bowling captains, those who bowl themselves too much and those who don't bowl themselves enough. I realise he's only got 4 overs to play with, but I'll back Whitney here. This was exactly the right time to bring himself on.
And they're probably due a captain's wicket here. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, but it would bring the game back into the balance. As Crump works it around, and Ashbir Singh comes charging in from the long on boundary, and that is out. Crump was looking so good, and he just walked across his wickets and tried to flick that one wide of mid-on, but he only succeeded in picking out Ashbir Singh on the long on boundary. And that is the big wicket for the Waveriders. Lachlan Crump on his way for 57 down.
And the chat's gone off because I think all the Waveriders fans know exactly how crucial that wicket is. And what a great innings it was. I mean, it was even a classy shot he got out to. He plays bad shots in a classy manner. To me, that's a good batsman worth watching. So it's been a pleasure to watch Lachlan Crump today. He will be disappointed at getting out at this point as he's replaced by Rob Staplehurst. But the Waveriders, now on that occasion, again it was a pitched up delivery, but there's a bit more venom in Whitney's bowling than there is in D'Souza's bowling. And again it would be good to get a completely down the wicket angle so we can see how much that moved in the air and whether that just drew the mistake from Crump.
Yeah, it does look like he's sending down rockets, bowling down breeze as well, and hard to get away. The first ball was at the block hole, and just heard the sound off the bat of Crump there. He'd been hitting the middle all day, and that one just sounded like he got the toe of it. Proved to be his undoing, so a lot falling on the shoulders of Ruben Berger now, who's 14 off 13 deliveries. And he leans back, there's no fielder back there on the leg side, and he lofts that one, and it crashes into the mid-wicket boundary for another 4 for Ruben Berger. He's starting to come at a bit more of a regular interval for Ruben Berger, the boundaries.
Good power play batting in that he, the field's up, so he thought, right, I know where the outfielders are. If the ball's in this slot, I'm just going to play through it, and even a miss hit will clear the infield, and I'll get 4 on this field. So yeah, intelligent smacking from Berger on that occasion.
Full toss, and he just leans on that one, Ruben Berger, and it goes crashing into the backward point boundary. It's a classy shot from the left-hander, and another boundary down.
Placement. Pure placement. He knew, well, most of the time, I think it's a point rather than a gully, and then there's a sort of a wide slip / short third, let's call it a short third man. Get it in that gap, ran away. The only thing not classic about Berger's batting is the fact that he waits with his bat in the air. Everything else is from a 1910 cigarette card.
And that's a great comeback by the captain there, Whitney, closing out the set with a Yorker. Yeah, just flew off the bat there of Ruben Berger. And he's really starting to look the goods. Averaging 56 so far this season, Ruben Berger. This is his highest score is 35 not out. Sorry. Doesn't get out very often though, the classy left-hander. He's looking to take this innings home for the Dingoes. 3 for 121. 4 overs to go after this one. And he backs away and a thick outside edge. Flies past third man and another boundary. That's the third for the over for Ruben Berger. And the Dingoes move along to 3 for 125 down.
And again, maybe not the shot he wanted, but I mean, what the players practice these days, he knows that if he connects, it's a 4 into one gap, and if he gets an edge, it's a 4 into a different gap. So Whitney again giving himself a chance by pitching the ball up, just didn't work on that occasion. Thank you to Jar SM, who says quite rightly that the catch was taken by Arshdeep Singh in the outfield, but it's currently showing under Dupinder Singh on the scorecard. We will talk to the scorers during the break and make sure that gets corrected. It's a little bit tricky for them to do it now, but that can be done during the change of innings. So if you're patient, we'll get there.
So that's the end of the power surge for the Dingoes. Quite a fruitful one for the Orange outfit. Dale D'Souza's going to continue, bowl his last over and the field spreads. Move a deep third man back, deep cover, long off, long on, and a deep mid wicket in play. So Dale D'Souza in to commence his last over. And it's an absolute crackerjack Yorker. Cleans him up. And who's the new batsman, sorry, Dan?
New batsman, it was certainly Staplehurst who came out before. Yes. Look, even from my slightly weird position here over mid-off, it did look like it was going down leg. And, well, the umpire answered almost before the appeal had started. No, Jack Chapman, it was not bumped.
It's a great line, that one by D'Souza. So he does bowl great death bowling, D'Souza. He's held that Yorker time and time again, and that must be why he's the leading wicket taker so far in this competition.
The Yorker's good, the back of a length is good, but if it's not swinging, you put the half volley away.
15 wickets so far this season to his name, so the strike bowler for the Waveriders yet to add a wicket to his wickets column in this big final. Now the Yorker yields a dot. Valuable one for the Waveriders.
Tom Fitzner says, a little bit of lament in his typing. Not D'Souza's best day today, going to need a huge over here to have an impact in this BPL clash. Look, you're right. Well, you say best day, I'd say best game. The semi-final was all right. Having said that, he's picked it up in this over.
Another full delivery and an inside edge. He doesn't know where it's gone, Staplehurst. And that's 4 consecutive dots. His final over for D'Souza.
Yeah, he's found his mojo now, D'Souza. I suspect either he was missing his Yorkers before, or he was going for wickets with that pitch. Now, it can be a bit negative to never bowl a half volley because you're never inviting the batsman to, you're never giving him the opportunity to make a mistake. But I think he overdid it before. This over's great.
Another full delivery and another dot. So 5 consecutive dots for the Waveriders. They've come out of the power surge swinging. And 5 dots.
Now, bowling a maiden in the first or second over of a T20, well, at any stage of a T20 over is impressive. T20 match, never mind, 17th over. This is amazing.
Brilliant over so far from D'Souza. Can he close out? He can. Staplehurst squeezes that one out to the man on the third man boundary and just a single. So a great final over there from D'Souza. Just the one run coming from it. So great death bowling by the strike bowler for the Waveriders. He didn't get a wicket, but it was tight when it counted, Dan.
Oh, conceding one run off the 17th over of the innings. And while he conceded a few off his previous overs, forgive me, you just said it, but I've forgotten what his overall bowling
And now 17 overs down.
None for 32 off 4, but he was none for 31 off 3.
Yeah, pulled it right back. 32 off 4 in the final when you can expect the opposition to go a Nathan over. That's perfectly acceptable. But also just to arrest the momentum, what he's done is set up his teammates. He's behind the umpire from my vantage point, not sure who the new bowler is. Might be Tom Sippel, actually. He's set him up so that now the batters will feel they have to attack Sippel, which is what every leg spinner wants. They want the batsman to come in.
Great call, Dan. Darts that one in and turn off the pitch, and a swing and a miss from Staplehurst.
Yeah, what we used to call Lieutenant Dan footwork there. It's a Forrest Gump reference, I think. They've gone over everyone's head. Anyway.
Sippel again. Another great delivery. He's really pushing him through the leg spinner.
Yeah, look, I was no batsman as a player, but when I put my front foot down the wicket and then tried to play a cut shot, that was usually a mistake.
That one up a bit more and Staplehurst uses his feet and he gets all of that. That goes all the way downtown and a huge 6 for Staplehurst. That was in his slot and he made the most of that, Dan.
Well, I'm not sure that the first two weren't in his slot. It's just that on that occasion he thought, okay, I think I know what's coming here. I'm going to make a better choice. My goodness, what a choice he made.
And he drags that one down. Sippel. It's a dot.
Zipped off the pitch. Staplehurst had in mind what he wanted to play and the ball was on him before he was ready.
And again tosses that one up and Staplehurst takes the invitation and a great catch coming running in from the covered boundary. Can't see who that is from here, but it's a great catch. He would have covered 40 metres and Staplehurst has to go.
It was a beautiful catch in the outfield, well flighted by the bowler, invited the big shot, used Staplehurst's mindset against him, and that's an excellent catch from Stephen Timms in the outfield. I'm not surprised because his work today in the outfield, as I say, a couple of mistakes, hasn't been a perfect day, but what he's done well, he's done very well. And after being hit over the top, excellent temperament from Tom Sippel to just smile it off, keep tossing it up, draw the error, catch in the outfield. Impressive cricket.
Yeah, great spin bowling there from Sippel. Didn't get too disappointed from that 6 down the ground earlier in the over. Easy to drop your head when the batsman comes down the track and knocks you down the track for 6, but tosses the next one up and gets his wicket.
Sure. A little bit of sledging going on the chat here. I will just ask you to keep it respectful. I appreciate, I don't know whether your mate's off the field or not, but we'll try to keep it respectful and just enjoy the cricket.
So Rudenberger, who's 26 off 17, can he bring it home for the Dingoes? They're sitting at 132 at the moment. 2 overs to come after this one, so 150 in their sights. But Rudenberger's going to have to play big role if they're going to get to the milestone of 150.
He's looking around for gaps at the moment. There's a massive gap on the sweep shot, but he'll need to get the right ball for it. In fact, there's not much behind the wicket at all. Maybe where he goes.
Tosses it up and that was absolutely plumb. Stump to stump and back-to-back wickets for the leg spinner and Berger has to go.
And that is what you call bowling to your field. I think a lot of coaches say to young cricketers, bowl to your field, and they don't actually explain what it means. What he did there was he left an inviting gap. He put in the batsman's mind the idea that this is the shot I want you to play. Then he bowled a ball which looked like it might be suitable for that shot, but wasn't. It was just on the offside of what was needed by Berger to be able to play that shot. That is absolutely superb bowling from Tom Sipple to get a good set batsman out by putting a little bit of doubt in his mind, not through words, not through buffoonery, but through intelligent field placing and directed bowling. Very, very clever from Tom Sipple.
Yeah, great call down, and now 2 new batsmen at the crease to close out the innings for the Dingoes. So crucial wickets for the Waveriders. 5 for 132 after 18.
Justin Faber, the new bat at the crease, left-hander. I believe, I'm assuming he's related to, I think it's Brandon Faber, who plays for Souths, and I think he's a left-hander as well. If someone can confirm that, that'd be great. But he has looked all right with the bat so far in this series, as Elliot is probably about to disprove with some stats.
Willis to close out Peter Burgend. So he's got 1 to go here. 2 to go, sorry, he's got 2 in his stop, Sam Willis, but they've only got 1 to come from this end, so he'll be looking to clean up the tail here. By the tail, I mean the last 5 wickets.
yeah, the middle order.
The middle order.
Lower middle order?
Lower middle order.
The lower upper middle order.
Let's let action decide that one for us. Let the last couple of overs unfold.
Fitzner points out that unfortunately for Sipple, he would have been on a hat-trick, except there's no overs left for him. But I can think of worse ways to finish the tournament than with wickets in consecutive balls. Excellent spell from Sipple today.
Willis in again, and just down the leg side, but must have been a little bit of bat on that, because anything down the leg side is a wide.
A little bit of bat, bit of pad, something. I think Tom Whitney was going for the appeal from mid-wicket to make the umpire forget that he had to call wide. To be fair, sometimes it works, but it's still wrong.
Bangs that one down the ground, and just the one. So the Waveriders are up and about here to close out. If you can hear them talking in the field on the camera microphone, but those back-to-back wickets there from Sipple has really lifted his team. Willis in again, nice and full, turned around the corner. And just the one down to the man at fine leg.
A little bit slower as well. Sorry, the batsmen were coming thick and fast there. Lachlan Cumming is in number 7. He just played that shot. Apologies for not mentioning it before now. So Faber and Cumming at the crease at the moment. Faber, the left-hander, on strike.
And that one's a wide. That's down the leg side. So that's the right-hand, left-hand combination coming into play again, Dan. We've seen that happen a few times today.
And Willis is coming into his 7th over for the afternoon now, so maybe just losing a little control.
Great ball by Willis. Nice and full, and Faber jams it out to cover, and they get through for a single.
Yeah, I've been generally impressed with Willis today. I think because of the type of bowler he is, I wouldn't recommend this for every single right-arm medium-pace bowler, but I think he's a good candidate to go around with it to left-handed because of that leg cut he gets.
He is again, nice and full, and somehow that's missed everything, and it's gone through to the keeper for a dot.
Excellent day's work of bowling for Sam Willis. You can see he's been an excellent addition to this Waveriders side. As I said, they've recruited so well, they don't have a weak link. It's been a pleasure to watch him work today in an excellent final. The Dingoes have something to defend, and the Waveriders will not be overawed. The second innings will be worth watching, and we're glad for all of you who have tuned into this final. pleasure to have you company.
Yeah, great penultimate over there by Sam Willis, and Deepinder Singh coming in to close out the innings for the Waveriders. The Dingoes 5 for 137 after 19. Is 150 still in their sights? Deepinder Singh will have the last say. Justin Faber on strike rather. Singh in, Faber rocks back, launches the drive down to mid off for one. Score moves along to 138. What's your call, Dan? Can they get to 150?
Against Deepinder Singh, I mean, if Deepinder bowls at his normal standard, even 145 would be tough. He's bowled that well. Remember, started 7 bowls all right to say.
It's been tight all day, and a cross-bat shot there by Cumming, bunts it down the ground. There's a misfield at long on, and they get back for 2, and there's a collision as well between the keeper and Cumming. So
first mistake in the outfield that Ashvir Singh's made today. He's been excellent, particularly with his catching, and I believe the scorecard has corrected the catcher, so thank you to
you can buy jerseys online to that commenter there by Will C. Get yourself down to Redlands for the final innings of competition. Deepinder Singh bangs that one in, and a swing and a miss there from Cummings, so a valuable dot for the Waveriders.
I'd recommend going to BrisbanePremierLeague.com. Don't put the .au on, just BrisbanePremierLeague.com. There are then links to all of the 8 franchises. Other than that, probably the most maintained media that each of the 8 franchises have is their Facebook pages. That seems to be Instagram a bit, but mainly Facebook, so I'd go on there.
Singh bangs that one in again. Cumming takes the invitation and he's skied it. It looks like a little bit of a collision. No, and a great catch. Running in from long on again from our man Singh on the boundary. And that's the end of Cumming. They're 6 down now, the Dingoes, and the score is still sitting at 140 down.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication initially between Adam Kerr and Ashvir Singh. Kerr, full of intent, and he pulled out at the right time. And Singh showing he's got a very safe pair of hands in the outfield. As the left-handed, now, if I get this pronunciation wrong and you know what it is, tell me. It's Ben Brockery. Maybe. Okay, I've heard it as Ben Brockery from the ground announcer. So I am happy to, I'll see if I can ask him during the break. But we do like to get these things right and haven't had a chance to chat with him. People ask about numbers on jerseys. I'm not sure that they provide that. These are not the multi-million-dollar operations that your average NRL or AFL club is.
Justin Faber managed to get himself onto strike as the batsman crossed there. Final 2 deliveries of this Dingoes innings.
Yeah, 150's off and 145 they'd take.
Deepinder Singh jams that one in, and he got all of that, Justin Faber, but he's clubbed it to the man at long on, and they'll just have to settle for 1.
Just before the innings break, thank you very much for all of you for tuning in and joining in on the live chat. You don't have to join in on the live chat if you just want to appreciate the cricket. That's perfectly fine. But this is a tournament for the players and the fans, and we're happy to just bring it to you and praise your mates.
Deepinder Singh with the final delivery of this innings, and it's a great shot. Leans back and rocks that one out to the man at deep cover, and great running by the non-striker Justin Faber. Drags their total along to 143 down.
143 is a wonderful total for the neutrals because it's neither too big for the Waveriders to chase nor too small for the Dingoes to defend. It's just a tick over 7 and over. And just an absolutely fantastic 20 overs of cricket we've seen. It was seesawing. We saw all sorts of things happening, some wonderful bowling, some wonderful batting. Going through the scorecard, the Stars Lachlan Crump's 57 off 43 was wonderful. Danny Young looked fantastic for his 25. Some excellent work from Ruben Berger as well, 26. Other than that, it was all single figures. So they finish on 143. The bowling, Japinder Singh was outstanding with 1 for 16 off his 4. Whitney had some good moments, 1 for 28 off 3. Sipple finished with 2 for 25. He was outstanding. Willis didn't have his best day, none for 25 off 3, but still did some intelligent things. D'Souza, as we said before, reigned it back in his final over, none for 32 off 4. And Schubert, unlucky to only get 2 overs with 1 for 13. So the chase will be 144 for the Gold Coast Waveriders. We have a proper final waiting for you here in the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Men's. Please join us in about 10-15 minutes or so. See you then. There's some nice feedback in the comments.
Can you guys just move? Just go chat away.
Oh, no, I know which one you mean, but I'm really going on at first. Yeah. And so I thought, no, I'm not touching when I was talking about the season's been terrible. What I've said on
How was the burger? Did you get your change?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I left it on your thing. I forgot to bring it up.
Haven't had the burger yet, but I'll get there. So, and hello to anyone still listening to us. We can talk about
Ben, lefty.
All right, now the start of the Waveriders innings. They're chasing 144 to win, so 144 runs to win for the Waveriders. Coming out now to start their innings, Bailey Sewell in one. And Mackey, I believe, is number two. So Sewell and Mackey away for the Waveriders. Just getting hold on the bowler. Danny Young in number 3 to open the bowling from the southern end for the Darling Dingoes. Once again chasing 144 for the victory.
Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Men's Final for 2021. The inaugural Brisbane Premier League brought to you by Mazda. The openers for the Gold Coast Waveriders chasing 144 to win. That total's gross. Little maths joke for you there. Bailey Sewell and Cooper Mackey, both left-handers. Sewell in 1, Mackey in 2. And the bowler will be the left arm, well I was about to say left arm spin. I don't know, the keeper was up to the stumps. For a moment I thought Young was going to come off a longer run. But Danny Young, number 3 batsman, number 3 shirt, but bowling the number 1 over. My name is Daniel Viles. With me, Elliot Lyons. I have turned the mics on, at least I hope I have. Young around the wicket. Dabbed. Cheeky run, well fielded at backward point. 1 run. Some fairly intelligent cricket takes place. All 3 disciplines of the game. My name's Daniel Viles, Elliot Lyons with me. Thank you to all of you on the chat. Hope you're enjoying it. Beats the outside edge. A flat, quick delivery, and for whatever reason, a little bit cute there from Mackie. Launches, and as rocket launches go, that one was a bit of a dud. A damp squid, if you will. Not a damp squid, all squids are damp, just the single. Elliot, did you get time to eat?
I was in search of a sandwich, but I didn't have time. Change of innings here in this incredible final.
Yes.
Danny Young.
T20 cricket, very bad for caterers. Pitched up, slashed down the ground. I think he intended to go aerial, but it will just be the single down to long off, where Rob Staplehurst gets it back to Young at the bowler's end.
Classy left-hand batsman on the strike there for the Waveriders. Bailey Sewell, prodigious talent for the Waveriders and for the Dolphins. One of those few club cricketers that's playing for the franchise from the same region.
Flicked into the gap at mid-wicket. Just pushed out towards the boundary where Will Stores, the left-hand medium pace bowler who we may see later in the innings. So dealing in singles only in the first over of the innings against Danny Young. Just played into the offside. I do like a left arm orthodox spinner named Daniel. Viles, Vittori, don't matter. Excellent first over.
They're all of the same calibre, Dan.
That's yes. No, I think that list I'm coming third. But an excellent first over from Danny Young. He knows that he needs to produce another big performance in this innings, and he's made an excellent start earlier.
Yeah, he was hard to get away in the semi-final as well, Danny Young. Only went for 6 runs from his 4 overs. So hard to get away in this power play, and he only went for 4 there. So very, very tight orthodox bowling, and he knows how to bowl in the power play there.
From the other end, it will be Ashton Gum. Right arm around the wicket. We can see that the keeper, Ruben Berger,
Bowling now for the Dingoes is Ashton Gum coming in from the ball.
he's up to the stumps.
The right arm off spin, Ashton Gum opened the batting as well. So a couple of all-rounders on offer here for the Darling Dingoes.
He doesn't want teammates, basically. It's just, no, I'll open the batting, I'll open the bowling. I'll run off, I'll work the scorebook. Need the sight screen moved, I'm on it.
He wasn't making any sandwiches, I'll tell you that much.
Thank you. Good use of the wrist. I like an off-spinner who really puts the wrist into it as opposed to just sort of dropping it down.
Get a hold of it.
He did. Went straight to the point fielder, however, the backward point. But you're right, it was well timed. Lofts this one, down the ground, inside the power play. Wouldn't matter what stage of the innings it at. That is 6 runs. Beautiful, controlled hitting from Cooper Mackey.
Yeah, he's put that on the highway, so danger zone for any cars driving past, and wowee, early signs looking pretty good here for the Waveriders.
Not a bad place to come and watch cricket this. As I say, Redlands home ground in grade cricket. This is the 3rd and 4th grade ground. But on a good day with a decent pair of shoes, you can walk from here to Wellington Point, which is a lovely picnic spot apart from anything else. Slightly shorter. Intelligent bowling, not quite convinced about the grunt as he let it go, but other than that.
Putting a lot of work on the revs on this ball, Ashton Gum.
Hit over the non-striker. Very clever batting from Mackie, as it's just a single down to long on. You've just been named by Will C. Elliot Gary Lyons. However, of course, that's Gary Lyon. I reckon you should be Elliot Jared Lyons. Bring it back to Brisbane, thank you very much.
Yeah, so it is an art bowling spin with the new ball, and the Dingoes open the bowling with 2 spinners here.
And to Mitch LeBron, I can confirm that this is the club of Manus Lanoskakni. Playing this bad side off stump, an excellent length on that occasion from Ashton Gum, and some slip keeping from Ruben Berger. Yes, Manus Lanoskakni does play his cricket here, and he's played a couple of first grade games for Redlands already this season. Obviously goes missing once the international start. Good length, bunted, good fielding. That's pretty good cricket, all skills. Good opening over, although he did concede the 6, Ashton Gunn, but in a power play you'll take 1-6 in a bunch of picket fences.
Yeah, you don't mind that at all, Dan, that's for sure. And a pretty decent start for the Waveriders. Needing 7 and over to chase down the 143 here. And these two batsmen, they looked good first semi-final, and there's promising signs again here, Dan.
I suppose the question is, have the Waveriders done their research? Obviously they haven't played the Dingoes before, but have they looked at the stats? Have they had people looking at other games to see who they can attack? As Danny Young realised his fielders were still moving, and so quite rightly pulled out his runner. Pushed it through. I think he was looking for the stump in there, and Mackie was awake to it. Leading edge, it's gone out to cover it, will just fall safely to the right of Ben Grocery. Lobs the ball back in. Moral victory for Danny Young.
Danny Young, he's just been so hard to get away this whole competition. Bowling average of 21. Economy of not many over 5 or 6, so very, very valuable spin bowler, especially when he's bowling them from the outset.
Full toss on leg stump, concedes 4 runs. That is a commentator's curse. Elliot, congratulations.
Well, you just can't bowl there to Bailey Sewell, classy left-hand batsman, and a full toss on leg stump in most games is probably going to get you 4, especially when you don't have any fieldsmen at deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, or deep mid-on.
Oh, let's be fair, that wasn't tactics, that was just a skill error. Darting them through this over, Young. Everything's flat, everything's quick. Concedes a single to backward point. Ah, you're being asked. No, hang on. Elliot, Jared Lyons, sir, where did you guys play club cricket? I'll get you to answer first.
From the west, so not many people probably know my club. Shout out to Mariners Gold Coast District Cricket Club.
Top edge, it's gone over the top, it's fallen in between 2 fielders. Nick O'Neill was able to get a hand on it and get it back to the stump. Sorry, continue, Elliot.
Club of current West Australian opening batsman Sam Whiteman and former Big Bash superstar Craig Simmons.
So that's in Perth.
Perth. Hour south of Perth, Rocky Mandurah.
Outside edge, again, not much variation from Young. They'll turn for 2. It's a big chase for O'Neill down to the boundary, and he's given it up. That's 4 runs. And I think Young there has paid for a lack of imagination. He just kept bowling the same ball over and over again.
Well, that's the most expensive we've seen him all day, and 15 coming off his first 2 overs, so the Waveriders, arguably the hardest batting lineup to bowl to, and they got a couple away there, Dan.
Indeed, and I think Young needed to show a bit more invention than that. Just to get my question out of the way, I played for this club, but it was so long ago, it was still Easts. I had 1 season for Easts in 92-93. I was terrible. So I spent most of my career in the Queensland Churches competition, which sadly no longer exists, but I had a lot of fun playing for the St. Bartholomew's Bunyans. We weren't good, but gee, we were cool.
Not much has changed then, Dan.
Gum. Backing away from Mackie, good idea, but he did hit it straight to point.
So field's up on the offside, so he's backing away there to try and open up that offside boundary.
Tossed up, hit into the gap, wide of mid-on, 4 runs. Excellent placement, enough power.
Yeah, it looked like he was just hitting a tee shot there. Just nice swing of the bat and straight through wide mid-on, and a classic lofted on drive. Reminded me a bit of Ben Dunk in his prime.
Down the ground, this could be caught. It's gone straight. It's been taken. It's been dropped. Apologies. Mackie thought he was out. He was walking off the field. It looked good. The bowler punched the air and then realised that the grass had come into play.
Crucial drop there. This opening partnership for the Waveriders is really starting to build momentum, and a wicket would have been everything for the Dingoes there.
More confusion with the running between wickets, but at least the second call was quick. Yes, no is a lot better than yes, wait, no.
And yes, no, sorry.
I had one cricket podcast called Obstructing the Field. The next one I'd like to call Yes, No, Wait, Sorry. Full toss, swept, 4. Knew where the gap was. Saw that it wasn't quite down leg side, but because it was full, he had time to step inside it, and there was a lot of vacant land.
Yeah, they play club cricket together, these two, Ashton Gum and Bailey Sewell, so he's seen a lot of Ashton Gum in the nets, and I mean, it was a full toss, but playing him well here, Bailey Sewell.
Make the most of your life, always. I like that he's tossing it up, but you've got to make him bounce. And thankfully that'll just be the one, thankfully from Gum's perspective. Just a single to finish, so the last 2 overs from the Dingoes haven't been great. Admittedly, they created a chance and it was dropped. Look, that'll happen from time to time. But I feel that the bowling, partly the plans have been awry and partly the execution.
And a drop catch will cost you in any form of cricket, Dan. And interesting to see that drop catch comes into play here today.
You see, again, you're thinking like a grade cricketer. You see, when you're playing park cricket level, we always said if you want to bowl a team out, you have to create 25 chances because you'll waste 15. Grade cricketers think in terms of 10 chances, 10 wickets. No, 25.
We see Danny Young continue. Left arm orthodox coming around the wicket.
I have no time for talented cricketers. That's a lie. Danny Young, round the wicket. Again, speared in. Well kept out. It's a dot ball as Lachlan Cumming fields at cover.
Classy left-hand batsman Bailey Sewell.
Young's lucky that wasn't latched onto. It's just the single down here. In front of us is Rob Staplehurst.
So the field spread now, first over out of the power play, and he's got protection back on that deep mid wicket, long on, long off boundary.
Speared it through. It's no longer left arm orthodox spin. This is left arm medium, really.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he's bowling with the seam up a little bit too, Dan. There's a little bit of swing in the air. I was calling it drift earlier, but I think maybe he's bowling it with the seam up.
Speared. This will be probably just a single if it comes down towards the frog box. Well fielded by Staplehurst.
This outfield is just manicured to perfection. That blaze across the grass and just literally like rolling across the carpet.
Told that Danny Young's currently studying law at UQ. Pushed into the offside. So keeping it tight, it's not pretty. There's not really much of a highlights DVD in this kind of bowling, but it is effective. He goes for a short delivery to finish the over. And I guess the advantage of what he's doing, he didn't concede many runs, but also in terms of seconds, that over didn't take long. And sometimes the batting team, you feel like an opportunity's just gone zipping past you.
Yeah, and the overs kind of go by quickly, it's for sure. Just going back to that point about left-arm orthodox that darted in, they do find their way into higher grade cricket. Going back to that question about club cricket, my early days of grade cricket, I remember playing with a guy called Aaron Hill, bowled left-arm orthodox for WA.
Oh, yes.
Very similar bowler.
No, I played a bit for WA, Aaron Hill.
Great bloke, Aaron Hill. He's managing a hotel out in Karratha now. Change of career.
Speaking of changes, James Holding. And no, I'm not going to do any jokes about his surname because that would be cheap, and he's heard them all before. But James Holding in the number 14 shirt for the Darling Dingoes. And the first time we'll see the keeper back in this innings.
Yeah, and run rate on par here for the Waveriders. Need 7 and over, and they're for 34 or 5. So very even start here. Both batsmen looking quite comfortable at the crease stand.
Good fielding. Good fielding. It was back of the length. The cut meant that Will Storrs saw it late at short third and cut it off well. Good start from Holly.
Right hand seam bowler bowls a heavy ball.
Lofted over the offside, caught, it's down low, this one has been taken. Catch in the outfield. The shot wasn't controlled from Mackie. He's gone over the top once too often, and that is the first wicket down. The opening partnership finally broken for 34. James Holy's done the trick.
Yeah, and Mackie was put down earlier in the third over, but this time they hang on to their chance and he's in the shed, so a big wicket for the Dingoes and a big loss for the Waveriders. That first wicket was crucial and a big partnership of 35 for the opening wicket, Dan.
They've done well. They haven't quite set the Waveriders up. What they've done well is not lost a wicket until the sixth over. Sixth over, yes. So there's no opportunities lost. Obviously they'd like to be a bit further along in the run rate, but the bowling has been tight. I'm expecting the next bat will be... So just trying to get the captor. Ashton Gunn was the person who took the catch, so that'll be brought up on the scoreboard. Sorry, yeah, the scoreboard soon. You'll see on your screens.
Correction there, false information. The catcher was Ashton Gunn.
There's Glenn Hazlitt, I said earlier today, but I'll repeat it, the father of Sam Hazlitt, who also plays at this club. Sam from the Brisbane Heat and the Queensland Bulls.
You see a bat change there for Bailey Sewell. Wasn't happy with the first stick he brought out, so he swapped it over for an identical stick.
Well, identical but better, really. And Arshveer Singh, of course, number 3, forgive me for getting distracted before. But Arshveer Singh, number 3 for the Waveriders, and he played a very good holding role for his side in the semi-final.
Yeah, he's been the superstar of the competition so far for the Waveriders.
Just glided down to third, where Storrs will field fairly simply, which brings Arshveer Singh on strike. The one thing we didn't see him do in the semi was accelerate, because he got out when he was about to.
Yeah, he knocked him around in the semi, looked quite comfortable. Only got his way to 34, I think it was, but moved himself past 50 3 times in this competition, so he's no stranger to big runs.
Indeed, there is a team of the week named each week. I assume there'll be a team of the tournament without actually knowing.
Bowlers like Holy are hard to get away. They look like on camera maybe they're just a medium pacer, but when there's the heaviness coming behind it, it's a lot harder to get behind. So Holy playing a big role here at first change.
Tuck Singh for room. Of course, Singh's just arrived at the crease, and so he's happy to just push it into the offside to start his account.
Opens his account.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So good partnership this one. 2 key batsmen here for the Waveriders. Sewell's moved himself along to 18 off 16, and his average is sitting pretty at 65 so far this year. So
looking very good as Holy. Back of a length again. And that's a good point you made about medium pacers before. Short version, there's a difference between a medium pacer who hits the deck and bowls deliberate lengths and a medium pacer who just drops it on the pitch and maybe bowls half volleys.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that might have been the undoing in the first with the wicket there. Perhaps just a bit heavier, a bit more coming onto it, not just an average medium pacer, James Holy.
And again, he likes that glide just to keep the scoreboard ticking over, does Bailey Sewell. And they come back for a second. Excellent running. There was a little bit of confusion between Storrs and O'Neill as to which one of them was going to field, and it was that hesitation which allowed the opportunity for a second run. So good opportunism from the Waveriders, as again, neither side has taken control, but neither side's lost it either. That sounded right. Did you get the idea?
Ashveer Singh moved himself up to 2nd grade cricket in club cricket, played 4th grade last year. We had 3rd and 4th grade coach of the Gold Coast Dolphins, Rob Mild, with us in the Combox earlier, informed us that he scored a quality 90 odd in 4th grade against the Dolphins last year, and it's turned out in the 2nd grade this year for North.
You remember the ones who score runs against you, don't you? It's you tend to forget your mates' innings, but the ones who score against you really hurt you.
When you've chased the leather all day.
They're the ones who keep you awake at night. Danny Young. That one was slightly slower and had a little bit more turn, but was still very much cut bowling rather than genuine spin. It's not a criticism, it's just a description.
So bowling himself out here from the outset again, Danny Young. First 4 overs from the Peter Burge end.
Just on the pads, but because it was speared in, Sewell wasn't really sure whether to try to get under it or stroke along the ground, and in the end he did neither. Pushing the offside, good throw in. Question about what number Charlie Self will be batting. Unfortunately, we are a fair distance from the scorers and we're not really in a position to just pop across. And likewise with interviews, it's unfortunately not really open to us, so I apologise for that. Young speared it in. Singh had to be careful. In the end, he played a shot which was neither aggressive nor defensive.
See, a lot of spinners opting for this tactic in short format cricket. Stump to stump line in a straight field.
And on that occasion, the line wasn't far wrong, but it was enough for Singh to get an outside edge on it and send it away for a boundary that was just purely pragmatic.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of 2 options then. You either just knock it around and be happy to sit on 1s and 2s, or you take the risk, as Ashveer Singh did there and got the outside edge. What about the boundary?
But he got flat batted along the ground. It should be fielded and just kept to 1. Yes, it's very safe from Grocery. Just back into the bowler. Danny Young finishes with a very tight spell that didn't take a lot of time at all. So he's done his job for his team. The question is, now that he's been seen off, does that give the Waveriders an opportunity?
Yeah, so none for 24 off his 4, so 6 and over. Very, very tight bowling there from Danny Young.
45 after 7 overs.
2 of those overs in the power play as well.
Key stat that down.
Do we have a required run rate there as well?
145 after 7 overs.
In the match centre, 7 and over.
1 run difference, because at the same time the Darling Dingoes
Which is
won.
more or less what we started with, so we're chasing 144.
Yeah, they're sitting at about 6.5, so pretty much on par so far, the Waveriders.
Bowling to continue. Short delivery, pull shot, skied, 6 runs. Got onto that early, timed it beautifully. The reward for effort was a very good ratio indeed.
Tell you what, he's played that shot well today, Dan. It's the second time we've seen him launch into a pull shot and put it over the rope at square leg. And, wow, James Holley falling trapped to it there, dropped short. And Tanveer Singh, he doesn't miss out on too many, Ashveer Singh, rather.
That's one occasion, and there's a bit of a search party going on for the ball now. In fact, the umpire's obviously familiar with what life is like here at the Redlands, and he's already heading towards the dugout to see if he can get another white pill. Yes, umpiring has. They know what to do in this situation. That's actually one disadvantage of banging the ball in as a medium pacer, is if you get your length slightly wrong, what can happen is it just sits up at the perfect baseball swatting length for the batter. And I mean, that was a lot classier than a baseball swat, but it didn't really ask any difficult questions of Ashveer Singh.
Yeah, and he really does look comfortable on the back foot, Ashveer Singh, as any classy top order batsman should. But there's a difference between looking comfortable and putting it over the ropes, and Ashveer Singh, right from the textbook there, if you want to know how to play a pull shot. Won't be dropping him short anytime soon, James Holley.
Found his length again. And Singh's a good enough batsman to respect it. Thought, he's clearly waiting for the ball he can attack, but he was quick to realise that wasn't it.
Yeah, we'll see James Holley really adjust his lengths here now. He's tested out Ashveer Singh, and he's like, okay, right.
Yeah.
He knows how to play that shot. I'm going to go back to my length.
Better was just a little short, which allowed Singh to play it out to deep cover. The fielding is assured. In fact, in the end, it's underarm because Singh's batters had pretty much decided it.
Yeah, that brings the 50 up for the Waveriders. So ticking along at about 7 and over here. It's right on par. Wickets in hand will be key.
It's a proper final, 2 worthy combatants. Holly just floated that one up, but the length was good. It was full enough to make sure Sewell couldn't get underneath it. 1 to long up.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Waveriders haven't lost so far in the BPL, so the undefeated side really are the favourites here, and so far today, from what we've seen, understandably so.
Wholly full, but it was a half volley. It's stroked towards cover. It should beat the man on the boundary and does. 4 runs. And it's pretty much the mark of a batsman if you can hit a 4 over cover. Anyone can hit one over square leg or over cow corner, big square bovine. But to play a shot like that over cover is a good mark.
Yeah, and just emphasising there why he's the star of this competition. Ashby Singh put one over the fence at square leg and just lofted that one over cover just to really emphasise his class. Looking like a real skillful batsman, Ashby Singh.
Wholly another half volley, and that's even more assured as it's lofted towards cover. Pretty sure it's a 4 and the umpire does signal that way. So Ashby Singh, and of course let's include his fielding into the package because he showed just how good he was in the outfield over the past game and a half so far today. But his batting has been beautiful to watch, and this time we are seeing him accelerate in a way that he couldn't in the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. Just easing through the gears here. Ashby Singh, 22 off 10, strike rate of 220. He's really showing that he can put the foot down if he needs to as well, as we see a change of bowler at the Peterborough end.
This is Will Stores, left arm just above medium pace. And only because it's my old school, I'll shout out that he was a Brisbane State Highboy. It's not that great, let's be honest. People move house to get in there, don't. It's not that.
So 16 runs coming off that over there for the Waveriders. Very productive one.
And thanks to Ollie Stores, who's tuned in pretty much for this moment. Will Stores. Speared in, that's a catch at square leg. It was a bit fuller than a half volley, played off the toes, lofted by Sewell, and it went straight to the man at square leg. 2 down. Will Stores has a 100% strike rate.
Yeah, and that's Bailey Sewell, a very big wicket for the Darling Dingoes, and he'll be absolutely devastated. Bailey Sewell, 22 off 21, so he was going along at a run of ball, got himself in, was really starting to look his classy self, and he's kicked out the man. James Holey at backward square, and that's it. He's going to have to call it a day there, and a new batsman into the crease.
It has been good to watch Bailey Sewell bat during this tournament. As the new batter is Sam Willis. Not Charlie Self, I have no control over that. Sam Willis, who has done well at number 4 in this series, and I'd still call him a batting all-rounder. I think bowling's very much his second string, but an impressive cricketer.
Yeah, he's got a great technique. Great technique, young Sam Willis. Bowled well today. His 8 overs were very productive for the Waveriders, and they're going to need him to knock a few around here. He joins Ashby Singh in the middle. And the Dingoes, with their tail up, 2 big wickets in the sheds, score at 2 for 60 after 8.1.
I wonder what it means from an animal perspective if a dingo has its tail up. Does that mean they're hunting?
On the hunt for wickets, perhaps.
Hey, there we go. Stores with a classic left armer's delivery, angle across the right hander, just back of a length. And that one seemed a bit quicker than his previous delivery because his tail is up.
He's a dingo and his tail is up. Forgive us if you're tuning in live.
Stores a little shorter, a little slower, and just played to O'Neill at short fine leg for a single, which brings Singh back on strike.
Yeah, so Singh really got himself in now. 22 off 10. Probably the most productive 10 deliveries we've seen from any batsman so far in this competition. Going to need to use that as a launch pad here as the field spreads for him.
Stores shows that he has a slower ball that's even slower than his previous slower ball, but it did the trick, a dot ball to sink.
I don't mind this tactic by Will Stores. He noticed that the heavy bowling of James Holey came on pretty well, and Ashveer Singh put him away, 16 runs coming off that over. So just changing his pace up here, Will Stores, quite clever bowling.
Clever again by not being too same. Went back to normal speed, got a miss hit to deep mid-wicket for a single.
Yeah, and I love bowlers that are smart and use their head, and their match awareness is just on point. The best players are the ones that are able to adapt their game to what's going on. So Will Stores noticing that maybe it's time for a change of pace there, and well executed.
Thought he was straying onto the pads there, but again, his changes of pace have been subtle. Maybe just 2-3 kilometres an hour here and there. Very good over, quite apart from the fact that he picked up the key wicket of Bailey Sword.
Yeah, so a wicket and just 2 runs coming off that over there by Will Stores. So big over that for the Dingoes.
All complaints about that over will be summarily dismissed.
Now for the Waveriders, they're 2 for 63. 2 for 63 after 9 overs.
Yeah, 2 for 63 after 9, as you can hear Glenn Hazlett announce over the microphone. So ticking along on par run rate here, the Waveriders, 7 and over.
Just correct you, it's spelt Hazlett but pronounced Hazlett. So every commentator in Queensland had to learn that when Sam came on the scene. So yeah, the emails will not be there.
Yeah.
It's a passion.
What do they have an E for? We're speaking English.
Style. It's
Finesse. A bit like his batting, perhaps.
Yeah, finesse is a French word. You might have to avoid that.
So James Holey to continue.
Just guided to third man. So Singh not going for the big shots yet. Good throw from Staplehurst in the outfield.
Yeah, I think this is smart batting here from Ashveer Singh. He knows that now new batsmen at the crease, they need to establish the new partnership. So just knock it around, 1s and 2s again, build, and then they do have that power surge up their sleeve if they want to take it, and they have 2 established batsmen at the crease. So smart batting there by Ashveer Singh.
With Whitney in the shed still to come. Holey has to be clever here. Still a bit of a half volley, but at least it was well directed for a dot to square leg.
It's got protection out there on the square leg boundary, but definitely not the line you want to be looking to bowl if you want wicket time.
Possibly lucky that Willis is still fairly new at the crease. If he bowls that same ball in 2-3 overs, it might disappear. Beautiful bowling, superb length. Willis wasn't sure whether to go forward or back, and in the end he played the wrong line as well. Great bowling from Holey.
Yeah, pretty hard to play a delivery like that. That's that first class line we were speaking about earlier, Dan, and great line and length there by James Holey.
I thought for a moment he had an edge there. That was a good ball, but it was made greater by the previous ball. It put pressure on Willis. He went for the big shot and very nearly had the scalp.
Just notice the Dingoes fielders here rolling the ball or bouncing the ball to each other in the field. So I just wonder if they're trying to scuff the ball up a little bit for a little bit of movement in the air, maybe a little bit of reverse swing.
Another good length delivery. And Willis just bumps it. A little bit of a missed field behind the stumps by Ruben Berger. Now that's a good pickup, and we are watching it. They heard us because they just lobbed that one to each other, but yeah, in 20 overs, working the ball's a little bit more tempting because you don't have the natural wear and tear over a longer period. Lofted, but there is a fielder down there. It's got enough on it. For a moment I thought it would drop short. Not an opinion shared by Ashveer Singh, who watches that disappear over long off for 6, and ending an otherwise good over from James Holey.
Yeah, the modern day cricketer is just not put off by men on the fence. a man on the boundary there at long off, and Ashvir Singh wasn't even interested. He said, that's in my slot and I'm taking him on anyway. 6 runs.
71 after 10 overs.
Just astonishes me even when I'm a young man, but even when I came into the game and was learning about the game, it was always about keep the ball on the ground. If you hit along the ground, you can't get caught. But the modern day game has just evolved so much so that we're at a point now where batsmen just back themselves in. If it's in their slot, they back themselves in to take on men on the fence all game.
That's it. 10 overs gone. Would you like to take over on the main ball, as it were?
And my honour as Stores continues here from the Peter Burge end. It's a good line. And Willis lofts that one over cover. There's no protection out there. And running to do the mopping up there, the fielder who was on the ring at cover. Danny Young.
Decent arm on him. Forgive him for being a little bit tired now. Of course, the Dingoes had to get here very early this morning for the first semi-final.
And he stayed out there. We're not sure if that's to stay in the shade or... No, jokes aside, he's got a little bit of protection back there now. Stores rolls his fingers over that one, and Willis just works that one behind point, and they calls him back through for 2, and it would have been tight if it was a better throw, but they get through for an easy 2 as we see them again rolling that ball along the ground on the journey of the ball back to the bowler.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's nothing illegal or even immoral about what they're doing. If you're throwing it into the turf, that's a little different, but they're not doing that.
Presents a straight bat there, Willis, but only succeeds in finding the man on the ring at mid-wicket for a dot.
I meant to praise before Willis's placement when he got the 2 behind point, because hit it just hard enough and just wide enough to basically give himself a second run. Clever.
Oh, so a terrific line there by Stores. Beats the outside edge of Willis. And that's the kind of line that we're looking for.
By having such good variations, Stores increases the value of the standard pace delivery. It seems even quicker.
Yeah, so clever short format bowling this by Stores. That one a bit more behind at seamer, and Willis just works that one down to third man for a single.
Good overhead catch from Ruben Berger as the throw was about to go over his head. I have a different theory of why they're rolling it along the ground. They're looking into the sun. Sun setting in the west, that is the west to the left of your screen. We're sitting on the southern edge of the ground. They're just making sure it doesn't, smash Will Stores in the face.
Stores in again, and Ashvir Singh lets that one through to the keeper, which concludes the 11th over here for the Waveriders. And the score sitting at 2 for 76.
So after 11 overs
9
now,
overs to go.
And
67 runs needed for victory here.
68.
68,
yeah.
Rather.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Appreciate it, Ken. Appreciate it.
But no, 68 off 9. It's in the balance. I think the Waveriders' plan A would have been to really pull away by now. They've only lost the 2 wickets. They have batters in the shed. Hopefully they've got good information from their coach, Prane Mishra, as to when to accelerate. We may hear a bellow come from the sheds if they don't go at the right time.
Yeah, so Ashvir Singh is well and truly in here. So I'd say the ball will be in his court as to when he is going to call the power surge. 30 off 15, so not exactly struggling with the field back anyway. As a full toss from James Holy is returned quite sharply back to him for a dot.
Yeah, Willis hasn't found his rhythm yet, and of course in T20 you don't get a lot of time to find your rhythm. So he may reach the point where he simply has to go for it and see if it works or not. I'm not sure if that point's yet though.
Beautiful afternoon for cricket here at Redlands Cricket Club. The wind's dropped off, the sun's lowering, and the temperature's dropped off as well, so beautiful afternoon for cricket. Holy bangs that one in, and Willis just turns that one around the corner to bring Singh on strike.
Beautiful afternoon for pretty much everything except alpine skiing, I think. It's beautiful weather, but still a bit cool, a little bit of a breeze, which is probably most of what you can hear through the microphones at the moment. Holly's using it. Singh. Will he look to attack here? I think he just might.
He just nudges that one down the ground to mid-on, happy for a 1, so I wonder if he's just warming himself up here for a power surge down.
Of course, the other thing is we're assuming it's all about intent. What Singh is doing is playing the ball that's bowled to him, which is often forgotten in talk of required run rates and all the rest. To actually just watch the ball and play it.
Nice straight bat presented there by Sam Willis, and adopt the result.
Which can be sometimes what you need to do. Even in T20 when there's not much time, if you're struggling a little bit for touch and rhythm, just play a couple of good defensive shots and say, right, okay, I've got it now I can accelerate.
Yeah, find the middle. There's a lot to be said for just spending time in the middle, knocking it around, getting yourself set. As he walks down the crease there, and a bit of an effort to kind of flush that one through cover, but he finds Lachlan Crump at cover, who hasn't bowled himself yet. Still got Lachlan Crump, skipper to bowl, opened up in the semi-final with a new ball.
Lovely.
And wow, he just works that one around the corner. Lovely, lovely shot there by Sam Willis. And that's 4 runs. Fine leg was vacant, and he found it, and he found the boundary down.
And what was good about that is that even while he was struggling for runs, he didn't panic. Sometimes if you get one of those and you're trying too hard, that's where you go for a big shot and you either miss it completely or you get a tickle through to the keeper. With that, he was calm enough to play the shot he would normally play to that delivery, and he yielded 4 runs. Slightly poor delivery, and James Holly is bowling 5 good balls and over at the moment, which is unfortunate because it's making some good overs look a little bit, well, it's making them more expensive than they ought to be overall. But overall, Holly's been impressive, but just him developing his cricket, just that control to make sure he bowls 6 good balls and over rather than 5.
Yeah, and you bang on, Dan. Just the 2 runs coming off that over until the last delivery. So to take that next step up, the best bowlers are able to round out a good set and keep things tight. Just straying onto the leg side there, costing him 4. Good batting as well, though, by Sam Willis.
He called Mr. Crump.
And he just eases into that one, Crump, as does Singh, who finds the man on the cover boundary for a 1. So yeah, opened the bowling in the semi-final. Lachlan Crump coming on to bowl in the 13th over here in the big dance. So interesting to see how this one plays out here for the Dingoes skipper. Turns that one around the corner. Sam Willis finds the man at deep mid wickets for a 1.
Interesting that he's taken off Will Stores, beg your pardon, and it may be a case of, okay, the batters haven't accelerated yet, I want Stores to bowl when they do.
Crump in again, just rolls his fingers over that one, so changing the pace up nicely here from Crump. Bowls a lot of overs for the Gold Coast Dolphins second grade side, so very experienced in senior cricket.
Singh had to change his shot. He basically played for the last ball and then realised that ball was just slightly slower.
And again here Crump, and that one's a bit straighter, seam up, and they get through for a leg by. Sort of a half shout there, but straying down the leg side really.
Yeah, I think Crump was unconvinced by the time he'd faced the umpire. But again, clever bowling, because Singh is starting to look to attack, and he can't at the moment. Crump's bowling's too clever. It was up to 8 and over before this over, and he pushed just slightly higher now. The danger is that the Waveriders leave themselves too much to do.
So seam up again there by Lachlan Crump, and another dot, so just 2 runs coming off the bat off Lachlan Crump over so far.
Waveriders need to be careful here. Particularly what they don't want to do is finish 10 runs short with, for example, only 4 down. That would just be a misuse of their resources.
Again, he rolls his fingers over that one, and Willis knocks that down the ground. They run the first one hard and they come back for 2, so great running by Ashveer Singh at the non-striker's end to round out the crump over. 5 coming from it, 4 off the bat, and the Waveriders work their way through 2 for 90.
Leaving them 59 off 42. Now, get them. They're certainly not out of the game.
2 for 87 after 13 overs.
Sorry, 2 for 87. We're playing the guessing game here with the laptop and the loading time.
It happens. So 87, so 13 plus 44, so it's actually 57. Yeah, 57 off 7.
57 off 7, so 8 and over. Run rate just lifting here now. They do have the power surge up their sleeve, and they do also have Ashveer Singh out there on 32 off 19. They're probably still backing themselves in here, the Waveriders. As we see a change of bowler called, and the power surge as well. So that's the power surge. Tuning in at home, folks, that means that their fielding side can only have 2 men outside the ring for the next 2 overs.
This is Gum, I believe.
Yep, and they've brought Ashton Gum on for his right arm off spinners. Big call up here. Ashveer Singh, 32 off 19. Gum darts that one in. Singh rocks back. Can't beat point on the ring. 1.
I like that Gum bowls proper off spin. He's really using the fingers and the wrist. He's not just rolling it off the index finger.
Singh at the non-striker's end. They won't mind him there, the Dingoes. As there's a field change and they move the man back to the mid-wicket boundary. The other man's at long on. So, coming around the wicket, Gum, and Singh was standing around the wicket too, so just letting him know that he needs to move to the other side.
Now, Dingo's senior spinner, Zach Beveridge, used this very well last week.
And he uses his feet there. Sam Willis lofts that one over the rope, and that's a big 6 and a well-needed one for the Gold Coast Waveriders.
And definitely for Willis, he's been struggling up until now. Beveridge in the top grade last week, he was bowling round the wicket, landing it in line and then spinning it back onto the pads and got an LBW that way. If you bowl around the wicket, it's not so concerned at further outside off stump and give the batter a chance to hit over cover. It's to cramp them.
Yeah, cramp them for room, so just a little bit too wide there from Gun. That's a better line, but it's right in the range for Sam Willis to go back-to-back 6s, and he hits a car across the road for another 6. Glorious range hitting here from Sam Willis.
For whoever it is filling out their insurance claim, the batter's name is Sam Willis, that's Willis. His club is the Gold Coast Waveriders. Waveriders is one word, no capital R in the middle, although when you write it in Microsoft Word, you will get a squiggle underneath it because it won't recognise Waveriders. Now, Charlie Self is out in the middle of the field. He's not batting, but I just point out for his massive fan club that Charlie Self is in fact on the field, and you can admire his selfness right now. Willis suddenly, 57 off 7, I think it must have been 62 off 8, apologies for miscalculating. 8 and over, I felt it was starting to get away. What's impressive about Willis is that he hasn't taken, those were calculated risks. There was nothing wanton, there was nothing reckless about those shots. He just saw 2 balls that were floated up on the half volley and he backed his skill. He's brought the run rate required down significantly without having to be overly innovative.
Yeah, tidy hitting there by Sam Willis. Straight bat and just glorious batsmanship. Ashton Gum, pressure's on. He's on the back foot now. The Waveriders bring up their 100, 2 for 100, halfway through the 14th. Gum in again, tosses that one up, and Willis hasn't got all of it.
No ball.
It's been called a no ball. It has been caught at the mid-off boundary? It doesn't matter, they come through for 2.
Yeah, it was caught, yeah.
And the no ball call, which means it's a free hit in the power surge. And this is clutch batting here by Sam Willis.
Free hit here.
I've liked Gum as a cricketer, but if the Dingo's going to have a chance, He needs to slow down and really think about what he's doing here.
And he's put that one over the rope. Sam Willis has put the third one over the rope this over, and they're paying the price here, the Dingoes, in the first over of the power surge, Dan.
Well, that's what, 21 runs off the last 3 legal deliveries. 6-6, 2 off a no ball and 6. This is a match turning over, really. Neither side has been ahead up until this point. The Waveriders, well, basically the worm now looks like a wave.
Yeah, and this is the kind of over that you look back on at the end of the season and reflect on and think, wow, that was the kind of over that really turned our season. We were in the mix. We were in the mix, Stan, and just a couple of good shots by Sam Willis and a few loose deliveries from Ashton Gum, and this final has been turned on its head.
57 required at the start of the over. Don't have the scoreboard in front of me. 36 to win.
34.
Thank you.
My calculations.
There were 2 earlier in the over, so it's actually 23 off this over so far.
You're probably lucky that full toss didn't go the distance as well, Dan. 2 to come here from Gum. He's gone again here, Willis. Has he got all of that? The man's settling underneath it, and he's put it down. He's been dropped, and it's crossed the rope, and that's another 4 to Sam Willis.
Look O'Neill out there on the boundary. He's done a few good things on the boundary today. He looked a little too relaxed there. Obviously you want to be a bit relaxed when you've got a high ball coming, but there didn't seem to be much... To me there was too little energy. 27 off the over.
He's gone again here, Willis, and he's lofted that one over cover, and it's gone again. That's the 4th maximum for the over, and that has turned the big dance upside down.
Don't want to come to your dances. So it was 57 off 7. Bit over 8 and over, looking a bit tricky. That one over, I think we have to say, is the critical over of this match. You keep saying end of the season, and of course that can happen. The end of the season, as far as the Brisbane Premier League is concerned, is at about 20 minutes. But they now need 24 off 6. It's now, I mean, the Dingoes need something special now. Was Gum the right bowl to bowl an off-spinner in the power play? Maybe they thought it was worth the risk because Willis had been looking so scrunchy up until then. I think when Sam Willis tells his grandkids about that over, hopefully he even exaggerates just how out of touch he was before that over and just how everything changed. Everything changed.
Yeah, something tells me he's probably forgotten how he was feeling before that over. 32 runs coming off the bat of Sam Willis in that over, and that is huge. They probably weren't anticipating that many off the first over of the power surge, the Dingoes, but that's what that factor is in the game for, Dan. Really just changes the momentum of the game for better or for worse. And off the first ball of the front over, Ashby Singh uses his feet and just lofts that one over mid-off for another boundary, and the Waveriders are just simply running away with it.
Total 124? 123. Okay, so I miscalculated, so it's actually 21 runs required.
So Ashby Singh, that was just a classy lofted off drive. Mid-off was up on the ring, and the Dingoes, it has to be said, are falling apart in the clutch moments here. Singh lofts that one over mid-wicket, who's on the ring, and they come back for 2. They'll be pushing for 3. They settle for the 2, and wowee, has the power surge been fruitful for the Waveriders, or what, Dan?
Look, they probably chose the wrong bowler in the game. I think that was just a tactical error. What I don't like about the Dingoes at the moment, they're heads down. The chase towards that ball was very lacklustre. There were 2 fielders who just watch it sail over their head. Play with some pride, boys.
Trump in again. Big French cut from Ashby Singh. Third man's up, final leg rather, is on the ring, and that runs away for another boundary, and they're just coming a little bit too easy for the Waveriders.
15 required. Mitch LeBron makes the point on the chat that it seems like it's pretty much centre wicket practice now for the Waveriders. I get your point. I mean, I think when there's a trophy on the line, you never treat it quite like centre wicket practice, but I get your point.
2 for 125. Ashby Singh and a rare dot. We haven't seen one of them in a while, Dan.
I think it's 129. Just
Might need to refresh my browser. You're correct. It's 2 for 129.
So yeah, 15 off a tick over 5 overs. But no, I want to see the Dingoes lift their heads, a bit of energy, a bit of come on boys, let's see this one out. Play through.
So a 68-run partnership, this one. And I thought he snared that, the fielder at point. Ashbir Singh just leans back on his back foot and cuts it forward to point for another boundary.
Now that's what I like to see. I think it was just out of camera shot. Ashton Gum, fielding at point, flew to his right, dived a long way, just missed the catch. Heads have gone down again, but I like that Gum, who must be feeling atrocious at the moment. I do feel for him because I've been in that situation. It's not fun, but I like his effort there.
Come for the last over of the power surge. It's full and wide, and Ashbir Singh just leans on that one, picks the man out on the boundary at cover, but I think it's fair to say the power surge has pretty much won the game here for the Waveriders. They've turned it on its head, and thanks to a huge over from Sam Willis, the Waveriders are in the box seat to take the inaugural Under-19s BPL.
Waveriders 2
Some good words from Tom Fitzner on the chat here. He says, crump with a wry smile. He's hurting deep down. Knows how much this means to him in the Dingoes. You've got to feel bad for the young champ. Look, I do, and maybe I'm one of those losers in life who identifies more with the losing team than the winner, but there's always two tails in a final, and it doesn't stop when the final's finished either. Today looks like it's going to be a coronation for the Waveriders, and I mean this is a wonderful vindication for the way they've gone about their cricket as Stores comes in from the final over. But we don't know what's going to happen with the Dingoes in future years, whether some of the players in this final are going to use it to motivate them for grade cricket finals. Story never ends.
So Stores swapped ends and classily just flicked over mid-wicket by Ashbir Singh, and that's gone the full distance. So Ashbir Singh just flicks that one over mid-wicket, brings up his 50 and brings the Waveriders to just a boundary away from a title.
And that was actually behind, it wasn't mid-wicket, it was actually behind square leg. So it went just behind the stumps. I think, on balance, Ashbir Singh's probably a player of the match, but the story of the match, if you're writing your opening headline, is Sam Willis's over against Gunn.
Stores in again, rolls his fingers over it, and in almost an instant replay, it's been flicked over the mid-wicket boundary, and Ashbir Singh brings up the inaugural win for the Gold Coast Waveriders. Dan, scenes galore here at Redlands District Cricket Club.
The Waveriders streaming onto the ground. In fact, they looked like they were going to stream and then they slowed down. It's a fantastic performance from the Waveriders. They've been the best team in the comp since ball one, day one. The Dingoes put up a great fight for a long time today, and I hope our Gum gets the support he needs, because that is not indicative of him as a cricketer. But to the victors go the spoils. The Gold Coast Waveriders, an unfancied franchise, it must be said. They, as I said earlier today, they went outside the Brisbane grade competition, looked at the Gold Coast grade competition, and I think what they've done is enhanced the reputation of the Gold Coast grade competition enormously. Tremendous performance from them today. Lots of individual performances. Even some of the greats who didn't quite come off today, like Dale D'Souza, still played a role. Gold Coast Waveriders, congratulations.
Yeah, the talent depth from this franchise has been absolutely astonishing, and wowee, did that final 4 overs just absolutely fall in favour of this incredible team. As you see, vision there of this wonderful under-19s outfit, a class above the rest throughout this whole competition, and they rightly so celebrate the first win, and what a win it is for the Gold Coast Waveriders.
We're going to wrap up the commentary now. If you want to check the details of things like who wins player of the match, who gets named in the team of the tournament, all those sorts of things, your best sources follow the Brisbane Premier League on social media, so Facebook, Instagram. I don't think they're on Twitter. If they are, it's not all that well maintained, but definitely Facebook and Instagram. Follow the individual clubs, and also BrisbanePremierLeague.com. Just the call of the card, the Waveriders won by 8 wickets with 28 balls to spare. Sewell an even 22, Mackie an even 17, but then Singh 60 not out of 28 balls. That's why he wins player of the match. And Sam Willis, 45 of 26 not out. That is the best scratchy innings I've ever seen in my life. The bowling figures, and most of them will have bowled better than this. Young did well early, none for 24 off 4. Gum, unfortunately, none for 49 off 3. He'll have better days. Holy, 1 for 34 off 4, did some good things. Stores, 1 for 19 off 2.2. And Crump, 2 overs for 19. We hope you've enjoyed the Under-19 men's final of the Brisbane Premier League. The Brisbane Premier League does not end this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There are the tournaments for men. It's under 17, 15, 13 and 12. And if you'd like to join me, I'll be on the Frog Box country out at Marchant Park for 2 days and then back here for 2 days for the Under-19 women's tournament. You will see first graders, you will see future Big Bash players and Women's National Cricket League players. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Thank you to all of you who watched today. Thank you to all of you who joined in on the chat. It's been a wonderful occasion for the Brisbane Premier League. Elliot Lyons, I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
It's been a pleasure to share the Combox with you, Dan, and it's been a pleasure to share this incredible final with all the fans at home.
It's been a wonderful week. Well done, Elliot, and being part of the Brisbane Premier League. We're looking forward to 2022 already. The stream will end whenever it ends, but for now, congratulations to the Gold Coast Waveriders, and it's goodbye from Fred Kratzman Oval. See you tomorrow. Thanks very much. No worries. That mic, you can just unplug that.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. And I'm glad my hand signaled at the end for you to sort of make the moment work. Yes.
I didn't really realise that they'd brought up the women, so we were like, I was like, this is brought up with